All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Hope everybody's having a good Monday afternoon. It's December 19th. Man, we're only, 6 days away from Christmas. Week and a half, New Year, man. This year's flown by. Joined today by Jay McLovin. How's it going, Jay?
Hey, it is going well. Obviously, the Cowboys didn't do as well as I'd like. But, hey, I know Dustin's a Vikings fan, and he almost got his ass whooped by a guy who has never coached a day in his life. What a time to be alive. Go Vikings.
And we're also joined by the stat guy, Dustin Reese. How's it going?
Key word there, Jay, is almost. It didn't happen. It almost happened.
If that's what you live your life by. No, that's great, man. How you doing, Gonzo? How's your day going?
Not too bad, man. We done a wrestling show Saturday night, and I woke up yesterday, couldn't hardly walk. So end up having to cancel the wrestling show we were supposed to do yesterday because there wasn't no way I was going to be able to drive an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back because I couldn't even stand up straight. So stayed home and rested, and Colts got beat.
Hey, that's what it's like when you get old, man. Hey, as we get older, man. I'm the same way, man. It's hard for me. I literally, if I walk more than 10 minutes, man, I'm hurting, and I got to sit down somewhere.
I had to run the camera, so I was standing up almost the whole night, and it didn't work out well. But hey, and then the Colts, of course, have the biggest collapse in NFL history on Saturday. So, wasn't a great weekend, but it hasn't been a bad day so far. Me and the stat guy done a good baseball show this morning, so been a decent day.
And correct me if I'm wrong, man, but I just saw it. I was looking on ESPN earlier, and it looks like, I guess, Jonathan Taylor's going to be out for a hot minute.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Probably going to be out the rest of the season.
And Sammy Watkins was just released by the Packers, too, so that's going to make an interesting waiver pickup for somebody for the playoff run.
Interesting. Who would want Sammy Watkins, though? I mean, I don't know.
Kansas City Chiefs would want Sammy Watkins because he actually had some of his better years with the Kansas City Chiefs when he was there.
The thing is, they already had plenty of wideouts. What's that? I'm sorry.
What happened with the Cowboys? Is what's going on with Dak Prescott? He's thrown 10 interceptions.
Yeah, man.
Not looking
if
good
you watch
last
that game, like I was telling Stat Guy, if you watch that game, man, look, we came out pumped, right? 21-7. We were rolling. We were cruising to a victory. And I think, what happened to them happens to a lot of teams, to be honest with you. I think sometimes, you get that quick, out the gate lead, and you kind of, take the foot off the gas pedal, and you just, you don't. And I think that's what happened. I think Dak, has some ill-advised throws. Obviously, the one in overtime is the one that killed him. But, I think the biggest thing for Dallas, and I hope that Dallas will eventually understand this, is that you have to have a killer man instinct from the first quarter to the last quarter. You got to have a killer instinct all the way through the game. And I just think Dallas, when they came out of halftime, Dallas just did not have that killer instinct. And I think the Jaguars are a good team. People don't understand. They're not a Houston Texans or a quote unquote Colts or something like that. I had to throw that in there. But I only threw that but I only threw that in there to make my point against the Vikings even that much more legitimate, that how bad was Minnesota, honestly. But it's neither here nor there. To answer your question, though, man, they have to keep their foot on the gas the whole way. And I hope they learn that, because they got to play the Eagles. They got to play what? I think they got to play Washington again. They got to play the Eagles again. And they got to play Dallas again. So We still got three teams left that we need to. We did clinch the division, so I'm not really or clinch the playoff berth. So I'm not really worried about them being in the playoffs. But I want to see them come out and really play this Eagles team hard. And if we get the Eagles team, but if we get a win against this Eagles team, then I'm gonna feel a lot better going into the playoffs after having that been done. So
yeah, they definitely are struggling right now, and you want to get back going on a good note into the playoffs. And I agree with you on the killer instinct thing because I think that was a little bit of the problem with the Colts. I think the Colts came out flat in that second half after getting that 33-0 lead and didn't. And then once Minnesota got the momentum, they couldn't get it back. And I think that happened to the Cowboys as well. But Dak Prescott, man, has to make better decisions, and the Cowboys have to get back to running the ball.
See, that's
with that 1-2 punch with Pollard and Zeke. That's what they got to rely on, and then just need Dak to be more of a game manager. They don't need him throwing the ball as many times he's been throwing it.
Yeah, and again, they didn't run the ball as nearly as much as I would have liked to. And let's be honest, when you're up 21-7, there's no better time to run the ball than that. Because now you're killing clock, and the more clock you kill, the better off you are. And you got Dalton Schultz just waiting there, to get that little short dump pass to get the first down after one or two run attempts. You know what I'm saying? But they really had the opportunity at 21-7 coming into that second half to kill the clock and still get the first downs. And I felt like they just did. Like I said, they didn't do a good enough job when they came out that second half. And I just think they took this. I think they took this Jags team for granted, and I think that's ultimately what got them. But again, I'm not a Mike McCarthy fan. I freaking hate this bum. And again, I don't like the play calling. So, I told Frankie last night. I said, "Hey, Frankie, you know what? I'm not even mad if they lose. I almost want them to lose just so Mike McCarthy will get his ass out of town."
But will he though? Because you just said that you're not happy with the play calling. He's not the one that calls the plays.
Shut up, man. You're an idiot. Take that damn shit off the damn.
He's not the one that calls the plays. Kellen Moore calls the plays.
Yeah, but I still think he has a little bit of say-so in that. I still think he has some say-so in that. I agree that he calls the plays, but I still think that
I don't think he has as much as people think, because when you look at when McCarthy came in to replace Jason Garrett, the only holdover from that staff was Kellen Moore. So obviously Kellen Moore probably has more pull in that organization than what a lot of people think. Because if he was the only holdover that Mike McCarthy kept from that Jason Garrett coaching staff, I don't see McCarthy having a lot of say in the offense, because if he did, why would he keep one of Jason Garrett's assistants?
Well, for one, I think Jerry Jones likes Kellen Moore's play calling. I think he likes the way he did for the offense. But at the same time, I do think that when Mike McCarthy came in there, I'm pretty sure him and Kellen Moore had a sit down, and Mike McCarthy said, "Look, you're the offensive coordinator, but this is kind of how I want to see things go." I still think that Mike McCarthy has a blueprint on, or has his thumb at least a little bit on Kellen Moore. What I would like to see, honestly, is Kellen Moore get put to the point of a head coach, and let's see what happens then. Or even like
I don't think he's that great of an offensive coordinator.
Huh?
I don't think he's that great of an offensive coordinator. I think that's some of the Cowboys' problem. I think if you got a better offensive coordinator, that offense would look better.
Because I think Kellen Moore is now in the position where Dak Prescott is getting paid what he's getting paid, but yet Dallas is trying to be a pass-first team when they need to be a run-first team with Pollard and Elliott. And whether
I don't think they have to be run-first or pass-first. I think they're well-balanced enough that they should be able to rely on both. Now, I do think they have to run the ball at the beginning to open up the passing lanes, but I think the Cowboys are such a well-balanced team that they don't have to be run-first or pass-first. I think if I'm them, I think I play my offense to the strength of that defense. So, for example, if I'm going up against a team like, let's say Miami. Miami has a pretty soft run defense. I'm probably going to run the ball more and pass and take advantage of their defense. You know what I'm saying? Like they are so well balanced that I'm going to gear my offense to take advantage of the defense's weaknesses. And I think that's how they need to be, and not so much worry about I'm going to be run first or I'm going to be pass first. No, I think that's bullshit. I think you tailor your offense when you have a balanced offense to the weaknesses of the defense that you're going against.
No, I agree with you. I think for the Cowboys, their offense looks better when
I don't know why you keep putting those damn comments up there, man. Why you keep doing it? But anyway, what were you saying, Gonzo?
No, but with the Cowboys, I think when they get that running game going, that's when they're at their best.
Oh yeah, I get it. I mean, I understand exactly
they're going to go
saying.
far in the playoffs. I think that defense and that run game is going to be what carries them, not the arm of Dak Prescott.
Yeah, especially when you get into the playoffs and you have to go to cold weather climates.
I just don't think Dak's that guy. Let me ask you guys this question: who would you rather have as your quarterback, Jay? Dak Prescott or Trevor Lawrence?
Dak Prescott.
See, I would take Lawrence.
And I'll tell you why. Because I still believe that Dak Prescott, he has good mobility. He can get around. He can move around. And, a lot of people, I think he's very underrated. I think Dak Prescott really gets the brunt end of a lot of sticks. And we haven't seen enough from Trevor Lawrence yet to be saying, oh, yeah, Trevor Lawrence is better than Dak Prescott. I'm sorry. I need to see a lot more body of work from Trevor Lawrence before I jump on that gravy train.
What do you think, Stat Guy?
I guess it depends on the roster. If I have Jacksonville's roster, I would rather have Trevor Lawrence just because it's more suited for Trevor Lawrence's strengths. But if I had a roster like Dallas, I would rather have Dak Prescott kind of for the same reason. It's more geared for Dak Prescott's strengths because he's worked with those guys as long as he's worked with them.
Do you think Dak Prescott's a guy that can carry you through the playoffs? So if you got to depend on him throwing the ball?
If you have to depend on him throwing the ball, no. Like I said, with Dallas being a wild card this year, they're going to have to go to at least one place that's going to be cold weather climate, and that's going to be Philadelphia. San Francisco can get cold, but it's not going to be freezing. And then if they go to Minnesota, they're indoors. But if they're going to have to go to Philadelphia, they're going to need to rely on the running game to beat Philadelphia as opposed to throwing the ball.
Statistically, I will tell you this. I think Dak Prescott has had a statistically off year this year. This year he has not played to the level that I feel like he normally plays at. I mean, you got to go back and look at what he's done. If you look at 2021, he gave you 4,449 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 picks with a 104 rating. That was last year. And then if you go back to even 2000, and then he didn't play all of 2020 because that's when he got injured. But even then, he didn't have too bad in there. He had a 99.6. So I don't really look at 2020 because that's when he was injured. So I go to one more back than that, and that was 2019 when he was fully healthy, and he had 4,902 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. So to tell me that Dak can't control the ball or do what he needs to do with the ball, I don't think that's necessarily a fair statement. I don't think that's a fair statement.
Jay, I got a question. Are people blaming Dak for that loss yesterday?
Oh, yeah, of course.
He deserves some of that blame.
They were up 17 points.
But
that defense supposed to keep that.
By the way,
but he's still 10 interceptions since week 7.
I'm not saying he's played the best this season, but this time, wasn't Dak. I believe they're going to blame Dak because Dak is the easiest thing to blame. Let's be honest.
I agree.
The secondary is weak, and they realize where Michael Parsons is going to be at, so they know how to block them strategically. Nobody else other than Parsons at the moment is conducing pressure on the pass rush because Dallas Cowboys' strongest suit is go up, and then they're going to run the ball, and they're going to pass rush because they got that pass rush. But DeMarcus Lawrence has been non-existent the past couple of games. They don't throw on Trevon Diggs' side, which Trevon Diggs has gotten better from last year. They don't even throw on this side. Bland, Joseph, everybody else on that other side, I thought Anthony Brown was bad. Those dudes are just as worse.
Well, let me explain.
And plus, Trevor Lawrence has been playing the best football in the past month. I think he's been playing amazing football the past month. Him and Jared Goff, are playing like the best 2 quarterbacks in the league in the past month. So
That's right.
we gotta give Trevor Lawrence some love too. I'm not the
That's right.
biggest fan.
First of all, you better respect Jared Goff. I've been screaming that from the beginning. Jared Goff ain't doo-doo. He's solid. You know what I mean? And lo and behold, finally someone's giving him respect. First of all, how y'all doing? I went on a sabbatical. I got mad. You feel me? I shaved a little bit, so my camera's
surprised you're on today.
I know, bro. I know. My job gave me 2 weeks off.
Chris J, and Props.
Now let me explain
you,
why
Chris.
I think this is why I think Dak deserves some of the blame. Now, I'm not gonna. Is he the reason? No. Personally, I think the reason was Kellen Mond. I think it was in overtime. One of the plays that he ran, and I think it might have been the interception that cost him the game. If you see how the route,
Cowboys are honestly worse at play calling than my Chargers, and I
dude,
hate
it's and the thing is like now it makes me think. A couple years ago, he was a commodity. Were we just a little too happy to hop on his bandwagon, or what? Because if you see the play, it is by far the dumbest play I've ever seen in my life. And the reason why I say that is this: if you watch how the plays unfolded, you basically only give Dak one of 2 options, because on the right hand side,
are you talking about that streak
play? The middle. No. I'm talking about the one. I think it was the one where it kind of bobbled up and it was the interception.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, interception in overtime.
So
the overtime. That was a terrible play.
It was not. My thing is, I don't even want to call
Noah Brown dropped that.
It was a horrible garbage, just in general, because you have guys. Basically, everybody outside of Zeke was in the middle of the field, literally in the middle of the field. So you now have put Dak in this situation where, okay, yeah, I have 4 options, but legitimately speaking, I only have 2, because my other 2 are kind of just stuck in the middle. So everyone's kind of containing on them. So was it CD? I think it was CD Lamb that he kind of tried to target. Somebody fact check me. Which
no, you're right. It was CD Lamb.
I thought he checked. I thought his first look is always CD, and then the next reliable receiver. I love Michael Gallup, but his go-to, I realized watching that game, is Noah Brown. And Noah Brown.
But the thing is, in that play,
was Schultz out?
Play,
Schultz played.
Oh, he was non-existent. Because the dude on my fantasy team had him.
Well, they were trying to be like careful with him and whatnot because they're kind of concerned. But what up, Mike, baby?
I just felt like they lost that game.
One of the true Bears fans I know.
Second half, they did not have the intensity for which they had that first half. That first half, they were destroying them.
And that's another problem.
1.5.
And that's another problem.
They came out the second half, they were just lame. They just.
The problem with the league is now that I watched, they play a lot of prevent, and they like to play a lot of prevent.
Which I don't understand why you're going to prevent when you still got another half to go.
Because here's my thing. I think this was their game plan. I think they were trying to do prevent, and then when they had the ball, just run the clock out. But the problem is when you do that, Kellen Mond was like, nah, let's fling it. Let's fling it. And it's like I said,
that's pride? Is that pride?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
Bro, I heard his voice. I was like, this motherfucker sound like Pride. I was mad.
It's crazy because I said what up to him. It's crazy because I said what up to him. But that last
bro, I didn't know it was you. I can't read. You know I can't read.
I feel you. I'm a bitch. I
guess. This dude's a fool, bro.
I just saw like profile. I was, oh man, that's love, bro. That's fucking love.
Here's the thing where I think Kellen Mond is just an idiot. Because if you see the play, everyone's in the same spot. So you really only have 2 reads. Either CD, which stacks number 1, or you have to hope Ezekiel can burn the corner on the wheel route and you can hit him deep. But the way the angle was, it was Zeke in the corner 1-on-1, and the corner saw that wheel route coming. So he's like, okay, cool. I can easily kind of just play in a situation where as soon as he turns that curve, I can kind of meet him, and all of a sudden he's packed. And that's it.
We've been having the same problems with having the same problem with Dallas for years. It's always been, I believe personally.
That's why I think it's Kellen Mond.
Hey, Deontay, you know what else I don't understand is if you look at that game, not one time was James Washington even targeted, or even I don't even think it was in it. I didn't get to watch the game because they didn't have it wasn't televised here, but I looked at the stats to see if he was even in the game, and I don't understand. You got James Washington. Why are we not integrating him more into it? You know.
Because here's the thing, like where Dallas is in right now, they're in a weird spot where you want to, and Mike, come on, stop taking dick.
They want to use James Washington, but I'm pretty sure they're at the front seat. front runners again, Odell Beckham Jr.
Which is why it's like, why am I gonna? Because you already need CD Lamb. Let's be honest, you need CD Lamb to be that dude. So you have to make him your number one. You have to, because you need to give him the opportunity for him to grow and explode. You paid Michael Gallup to be the number 2, so you're gonna be dumb if you don't utilize him. And now with Odell, never mind the fact that they got T.Y. Hilton, which confused me. I don't. My only assumption is if you get T.Y., then Odell must have said no. That's the only assumption.
Well, they got T.Y. on a very, very extremely cheap contract. Number one, but I think number 2, they wanted his veteran leadership to help out the younger guys. I don't know that they necessarily wanted T.Y. to be the end-all, be-all guy.
I don't think they thought OBJ was going to play this year.
Well,
and you know what? T.Y. might not even play. You're right. They only got him on a $600,000 contract. They paid him dirt cheap. So
and
they're paying him for veteran leadership.
And which
that's exactly what you're doing.
Which is probably the only legitimate reason you would have. You know what I mean? But I think they're kind of in a situation where they want to kind of have the young guys step up, but you're kind of nervous because why am I going to do all this? Bring in Odell, and the only person who's probably going to get more touches than Odell is going to be CeeDee Lamb, and it's because you have to. Michael Gallup and down, everyone's losing touches. So I think that's kind of like their logic. But the logic I would combat with that is if you have a youngster that can kind of step up, you put him in that position, guess what? Now you don't need Odell. Respectfully, of course. Not to say he's a bum, but if you can just have a youngster kind of step up, and now you kind of have, granted, I'm not saying they're going to have a thing kind of like Justin Jefferson or they're going to be like, Jamar Chase. But if you can give this whatever youngster they want to pull off their roster and give them that opportunity, what if they end up kind of playing great and it gives CeeDee Lamb a little bit of reprieve? So now you're not just looking at, oh, yeah, we got CD. Now instead of doing that, now I got to pay attention to everybody else. I just think Dallas is in this weird situation where they want to do that, but they're scared. Like, what if we do that? Because remember, Odell don't want to sign for just the rest of this year.
No, he wants 3 years. He wants 3 years, and he said $20 million contract.
So,
but you know what? But Pride, you know what's interesting though, Pride, watch this. They actually asked T.Y. if he would be okay with them bringing in Odell Beckham. So I do think Dallas at some point is still going to bring in Odell. I think they're going to bring in Odell. Even Jerry said we're going to bring in Odell. I think they're just waiting until next year and they want to reevaluate him medically before they make that commitment. But I wouldn't be surprised if he still winds up there. But to answer Anthony Price goes, how do I feel about Kellen Moore, good or bad, or leaving, not leaving? I would like to see Kellen Moore with a coach that actually will let Kellen Moore do what Kellen Moore will do. So like a Sean Payton, for example. I think you bring Sean Payton in, I think Kellen Moore will get a little more autonomy to do it. I still think that Jason Garrett had somewhat say on what Kellen Moore did. I still think that Mike McCarthy has some level of influence on Kellen Moore's play calling. I don't know exactly how much of it's Kellen Moore and how much of it is those other 2 head coaches that were there influencing Kellen Moore's decision making.
AJ, it sucks because you won't get Sean Payton because he kind of like Los Angeles more with Herbert.
Hey, you shut your mouth.
Well, but
you shut your damn mouth, Deontay. We haven't even seen you in a hot minute. All of a sudden, you come out of the dark shadows saying some stuff like that.
School's out now. School is out. My Chargers is 6 seed, and everybody talk.
But we all knew the Chargers were going to get that. There ain't no way New England was going to hold on to that.
Yeah, and they're hanging on by Keenan Allen's hamstring, so I wouldn't bang on it.
You're a Bears fan. Leave me alone.
I got the number 2 overall pick. You got nothing but hamstring issues, so I don't want to hear it.
Deontay, say what you want, but the Chargers have put themselves in position to run the table and finish 11-6.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they have an easy schedule. They're playing nobody.
They play the Colts Monday night.
And you have to consider Brandon Coach of the Year.
That is the hardest game we're going to play, is the Colts.
That's going to be an L. Colts on Monday night. It's an L for the Chargers.
Y'all gave up 30
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know
half.
about that one, Chief.
I have no faith in
yards in the second.
We just had the biggest collapse in NFL history.
It should have been an L for Minnesota.
We're in position to win because we beat Miami. We got Miami head to head, so I didn't care if New England lost. Y'all just gave Miami a spot. New England, we got Miami head. So if they needed one more loss to Buffalo, which I knew they was going to lose to Buffalo, where they collapsed at the right time, where we got their spot. So I wasn't worried about that. And then now we're in position to win 2 out of our 3 games. We played the Rams, Broncos, and Colts.
Yeah, bro, hold on. Time out now. I just want to say this. Y'all losing against Broncos. But how injury prone, how horrible and ravaged our offense is, that defense will hold y'all down to like 3 points, bro. Herbert finna
Joey Bosa comes back in 2 weeks. You have Derwin James. He's finna come back in 2 or 3 weeks. We're playing the best defense we played.
And the season's over in 2 to 3 weeks.
But Deontay, well, not only that, but Deontay, those 2 names, Joey Bosa, he's a dog. Derwin James, he's a stud. Unfortunately, they're on their defense.
I'm saying offensively, I like the system.
Don't listen.
Because Joe Lombardi, I think Miami system, I've told multiple people the Miami system, how we beat them is the perfect system. If we have Justin Herbert on the rollout due to our weak, inefficient line, because we are literally banged up in line in all directions.
And that's what I'm saying. I think you guys, I don't think you guys are winning all. I think you guys are going 1 and 2. I think you guys are beating the Colts, but for me, it's just your injuries. If you guys were, if it was just Keenan Allen,
I can see that with you.
We got a different conversation. We got a way different conversation.
Honestly, the only reason I wouldn't care if we lose 1 out of 2 games, because I know Brandon Staley's out the door after that.
Brandon Staley's getting a free pass.
I don't think he's out the window.
If Kingsbury's out the door though.
For how injured the Chargers have been this year, and for Brandon Staley to have them in the position they're in right now, there's no way they fire him. They physically can't.
But you want to be honest with you, we can say even with all the injuries, the weakest link in our offense is the play calling. So Joe Lombardi, one of them is going to be gone by this year. Joe Lombardi or unless they win the Super Bowl or they make an AFC Championship run, Staley or Lombardi. Possibly both of them is going to be gone. Sean Payton is right around the
window. I'm tell you why I don't think Brandon Staley. This is why I don't think Brandon
Staley will be there.
Yeah, I think he's going to be there. And the only reason why I say this, I think it's a combination of 2 things.
I have a problem with the coordinator. I'm going to be honest with you. Joe Lombardi holds Justin Herbert back. He doesn't let him throw them 60-yard bombs.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that because how can you throw them 60 yards if you got no one who can run 40?
Yeah, that's kind of the issue.
That's where I'm kind of like, you can't really knock Lombardi for kind of changing.
And you have an offensive line that can't protect for.
I wish Pride had the same energy for Justin Fields that he does for Justin Herbert.
Justin Fields has him in the worst situation.
Because you fucking Justin Herbert shit right now.
I just want to say one thing about that. He's upset because I'm gonna be a professional hater. So no matter how good Justin Fields does,
what was the scoreboard?
I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Scoreboard.
Listen.
Let me address it. In the worst situation as a quarterback, bro.
Let me address it.
Tell me, Brad, before you go, tell me how it felt when the Bears beat the Pats and the Bulls beat the Celtics all in the same night. Let me know.
It felt just as great because guess what? Both your teams are still under 500. Zach,
Michael.
Hey, Pride, we got
Boston Pack Riley.
Boston Pack Riley. You my government? No.
Yeah.
Hey, Pride. Hey, so tonight we get Monday Night Football. You get Baker Mayfield going against Aaron Rodgers. I know you're a Baker guy. How do you think he plays? Number one, and number two, if he wins out with the Rams, if Baker can win out with the Rams, what does it look like for him going forward?
I think they're keeping Baker regardless. So
so it's going to be
backup Stafford.
And so let me answer your first thing. I think he ends up beating Aaron Rodgers. I think he does his thing.
Not saying a lot this year.
I mean, of course, but listen, as long as Baker doesn't come in doing anything stupid, he'll be fine. Jimmy Garoppolo just does the bare minimum, and everyone's been deep throwing this guy. You know who else does the bare minimum? You know who's been doing the bare minimum for a while now? I'm gonna get a little bit of hate, but I'm all for it. Lamar Jackson. Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of airing the ball out, again, no one's ready for that conversation. But when y'all ready,
I'm definitely I agree.
They were 8-4 before he was hurt.
Are you done?
That's a team award, my guy.
Thank you. And not only is it a team award, how many times the defense done bail him out? Because I saw a healthy Lamar Jackson put up 7 points. Do better. That's a swing in the middle. Mac Jones not even doing that.
Also, the defense.
Michael Jones not even doing that. And Mac Jones ain't even that nice, bro. He ain't even that nice right now, bro. And I love Mac Jones. I'm deep throwing him after the show. But he not even Mac Jones doing that, bro.
Wow.
Bro, Trace McSorley was looking better. Stop it. Anyway, as I was saying, folks, I'm rudely interrupted.
TikTok.
I think he's gonna end up. Baker's gonna do just enough to be calm, cool, and collected. Don't do anything extra. Just take what the defense gives you and go from there. Now, what happens with him last year? This is where I agree with Deontay. He's going to be their backup next year, only because they're going to see whether or not Matthew Stafford can remain healthy. If Matthew Stafford
I think they're doing that for developmental reasons. If he can, Baker Mayfield, honestly, if you can have Stafford, because Stafford don't seem like the guy. He's not no Aaron Rodgers jerk, ain't going to groom the quarterback. He knows Baker Mayfield's not starting over him. He's going to put that coach him up. Matt Stafford got 2 or 3 years left in him. Matt Stafford, you forget Matt Stafford came out in 2009. He was the first pick. He has 2 or 3 years left in him. Baker Mayfield problem is, I personally believe, I think Baker Mayfield sucks. Don't get me wrong. But my problem is I think he started too early. I think they should have kept Tyrod in. They should have learned the game more. I think
Tyrod was trash.
Tyrod got hurt.
How do you learn the game if you're not on the field? You learn. Look, I don't understand when people say that. You can't learn shit on the clipboard.
And how's it all Baker's fault when you have 5 different coaches and coordinators every season he's played?
You got.
Hold on.
You want to bring up last year when they had Nick Chubb, the best 1-2 punch in the Kareem Hunt in football. You got Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. You got a lot of talent on that team.
And he was hurt.
You can't win.
Hold on. Is this the same defense that gave up 43 weeks in a row?
Bro, there's games that Baker can make. There's games that Baker can make a throw. Some games legit because of Baker.
He played hurt last year.
Shoulder injury last year. Odell Beckham missed time last year. Amari Cooper missed time last year. Donovan Peoples-Jones missed time last year. David Njoku missed time last year. Kareem Hunt was suspended for
You're telling me you can win a championship with Baker Mayfield?
I didn't say you could win a championship with Baker Mayfield, but he's not.
Baker Mayfield.
If I can win a championship, hold on. If I can,
hold on, Jay. Hold on. You shut your mouth, Jay. I gotta just
win a championship with.
And I'm not saying Kirk Cousins isn't bad.
Holy hell, Deontay!
Hold on.
You are trying to tell me that Baker Mayfield's ceilings is Kirk Cousins? I would take that any day of the week if you watch how Kirk Cousins is playing right now.
Hold on, time out. Why are we pretending Kirk Cousins is bad?
Are you kidding me, Deontay? 450 yard passing days, 404 yards in the second half in the overtime against the Colts on Sunday. If you're trying to tell me that Baker Mayfield's ceiling is Kirk Cousins, there is 20 teams in the NFL that would take that.
I'll say you give him a lot of talent, and he's going to work with it, and he's going to. He's not Kirk Cousins. He's not Kirk Cousins accurate-wise, and Kirk Cousins don't make a lot of mistakes. I'm saying as in the deep ball. As in the dink and dunk, as is most of his career, he's at best Kirk Cousins.
Which a lot of teams would take at his.
Hold on, dink and dunk. First of all, he's been what, a top 7 in terms of passing yards for what? How long now? Ever since he got to Minnesota?
I'm saying that. I'm not talking about Kirk. I'm talking about Baker.
I'm not.
All I know is if Joe Flacco and Trent Dilfer can get a Super Bowl ring. There's no damn reason why Baker Mayfield can't get
This is coming from, I believe I am one of the biggest Baker fanboys ever. When he grabbed his junk, you just
disrespected Jimmy Garoppolo, but giving praise to Baker. That's what I'm saying.
No. First of all, I didn't disrespect Jimmy Garoppolo because I said when Jimmy Garoppolo doing the bare minimum, everybody loves him. Is that not what I said? Rewind the tape.
Basically said dudes are meat eating Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's basically just there. But
no, I didn't say that. I said he does what he needs to do.
Give credit to Baker because he came out. I understand.
No, you don't. Because if you understand what you're saying.
Hey, just tell me this: how do you win a football game when you don't even know where your own locker room is? But yet you can go out there and win a football game, and you don't even have chemistry with any of these people. You barely even know the play.
We're talking about the same guy that lost to a guy that said he sucks and then came back there and won against him.
Who?
We're talking about the Raiders and Josh McDaniels.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying, you're saying Baker Mayfield 2 days. Jeff Saturday said, dang, the Raiders suck. Got the head coaching job for the Colts, went out there, and the only one the Colts got was against the Raiders.
Well, I don't know what is your point?
I'm just saying this the Raiders a collapsed team. They're going to give that to you.
I thought we were talking about Baker. Anyway, look.
I'm saying Baker. All right, what has Baker done? We in Carolina. What has Baker done?
What has Baker done?
A 1 game stretch with 8-3.
head coach. That's what Baker Mayfield had in Carolina. There's a reason why Matt Rule is not there. There's a reason why Carolina's on the verge of making the playoffs now because Matt Rule is gone.
And Dustin, let me.
I'm gone.
I'm honestly listen. I am a huge Baker Mayfield fan. I am not going to sit here and pretend he's a super duper star and that he will be a top 10 quarterback. I'm not going to pretend that.
I never said you say he was a superstar top 10.
No, I just wanted to clarify.
I know you got common sense not to believe that.
Yeah. Not a lot, but I still got a couple cents in my.
You're a very knowledgeable guy.
Comment, you feel me? But here's my thing. When people say, what has Baker Mayfield done? This is what he's done. He went to a situation where they drafted him number 1. Hugh that the dumbness of him was like, congratulations, you earned a backup role. Baker was upset, but what did he do?
Hard Knocks. Whatever. Whenever you're on Hard Knocks, bro, you know your team sucks though. So
110%.
I mean, Detroit Lions were on Hard Knocks and they don't suck.
Now
I don't know them Lions, bro. I never thought they sucked. They're just a hard, hungry, fighting team.
They're just a young team. That's all. They're a young team. But
you know what though?
So
I'll tell you this:
the Lions roster.
So real quick,
I gotta give Pride some love because last year me and Pride got into it a lot about Baker and the whole Odell situation. But Deontay, man, I don't want to hear nothing about no Carolina because Carolina is AIDS, my boy. Like I don't want to hear none of this shit.
Like yes, thank you, Mike.
It's awful. The whole situation
here's my thing.
was awful. I just think at the end of the day, bro, like you can't sit here and say that that's on Baker because how many quarterbacks have they had in the last 3 years?
I'll give you that.
Hey, by the way, if you take Discovery by prep, they can lower the cells down so far that it's almost like you don't have AIDS at all.
Did you say,
so
here's my thing.
it's interesting.
Undetectable.
How do you know that?
Kyler Murray to me.
Hold up.
Discovery by prep. That's all you gotta do.
I think Kyler Murray's way better than Baker.
I think he's way better, but I think Kyler Murray's also overrated. Is overrated as well. But
what do you mean by overrated? I just gotta clarify that because last time I said somebody was overrated, no one wanted to listen to me. So what do you mean by overrated?
Worth that contract?
Yeah, he's worth that contract.
I think he's not overrated. I think the contract that he got compared to the play is not there. Kyler Murray's not a second half.
I don't think he's gonna play in the NFL again.
Maybe you're right, Deontay, but you got to consider that's the market value for quarterbacks. It doesn't matter what your play is. That is the market.
Russell Wilson ruined that, so that don't matter.
So
I mean, did he really though? I mean, let's keep it a beat out here. Let's be all the way 100. Not a single soul can look me in my eyes and tell me.
I can't look in your eye. You don't even have.
I knew what you was gonna say.
But yo, you have to shut up, yo, because you faceless too, bro. So I don't want to hear it.
What up, Jay? I got my face on camera.
I'm still gonna get faceless though. But no one can tell me that we expected Russ to be this bad. Russell Westbrook, yes. Russell Wilson, no shot. No shot. You would have.
Russell Wilson's been worse than Westbrook.
If we're gonna be honest here, if we're gonna be honest, at least Russell Westbrook, he's like, you know what? Last year happened. Let me make some adjustments. He's adjusting. He's like, you know what? It is what it is. Let me work. Let me go back to my defensive thing. He's playing nice defensively, moving around the off ball a little more.
I'm gonna give you a point. Go ahead. Nathaniel Hackett got to go for me to just say I'm 100% done with Russell now. Nathaniel Hackett got to go, but I ain't never seen nobody collapse this bad because of a coach.
I mean, respectful and respectful.
I mean, he has a fat ass injury right now too. So I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
I mean, which is why me personally, if I'm the Broncos, I completely shut them down. I say, you know what?
I think they are.
Just be done with it. If he says I want to play, I'd be like, I ask you what you wanted. Just listen. If I'm the Broncos, I talk to him how I talk to my kids. When we go out to McDonald's and I'm hungry because I want something, like, Daddy, I want something. I didn't ask you. Shut up. One slap and all of a sudden talking ain't fun no more. That's what I would do if I'm the Broncos. You are sitting because now next year we have a legitimate conversation we need to have. Was it an anomaly and it was just, a lot of things just happening all at once, new team, new because again he's calling all
but anyway, Bryce, if you do that, do you let go of Hackett and bring in a more qualified coach to actually give him the
Hackett's
well, to be honest, and I think Dustin and we spoken about this before. They got Nathaniel Hackett to get Aaron Rodgers.
Yep. Oh yeah, we all know that.
Aaron Rodgers guy.
Russell Wilson was the stepchild because he wasn't the biological one that they wanted.
Exactly. So now that they don't have Aaron Rodgers, they could easily fire him and move on. Here's the question.
That man said, "I'm paying you $250." It's a sprint. It's a marathon. Sprint, Anthony. It's a marathon,
because here's my thing. And I'm gonna tell you why I personally wouldn't play him. The reason why I'm not playing him, my offense needs a break from him. Melvin Gordon, before he got released, wanted to fight Russ. Jerry Jeudy looks like a bum.
KJ Hamler. KJ Hamler.
Hey, you cannot take your helmet off in the field and then come screaming at a referee, telling them some shit, and then you're gonna bump them like you about to say, hey, you want some? Come on, man.
Jerry Jeudy, the defense hate Russ.
But and that's the thing, because it reminds me a lot of, there was a stretch when Brett Favre was when he was, I think it was 2 years in Green Bay and 1 in Minnesota, where there were 3 picks in a row in the playoffs he threw.
He threw 6 in one. He threw 6 in one playoff game, I think.
No, he didn't.
Was it 6 or 5? I think he threw. I was watching something. It was a game he threw like 4 or 5.
I know 1 he threw 4.
I know Ryan
Tannehill was about to get benched, and he really was on the sideline like, "Yo, you best be fighting." That's it, bro. I'm gonna do you how I'm gonna do Mississippi in a few years, bro. I'm stealing dubs out here, bro. That's what
Brett Favre. He at least won them something. Russell's not winning games.
But what I mean
the reason the Broncos suck is
because of Russ.
Respectfully, because of the offense.
Most interceptions Brett Favre ever threw in a game was 5, but it was not a playoff game. The most he ever threw in a playoff game was 3.
4.
Thank you. I thought it was like 5. He threw like a 5 or 6 game. Thank you.
5 interception game against Cincinnati in 2005. The most interceptions he ever had in the playoffs was 3.
And by the way, because Joe said
was it against the Rams?
It was against the Giants the year that the Giants
won a Super Bowl with 27. I remember now.
But Joe,
I never trust a person's opinion if I can't look him in the face. I just want to say, if I can't see your face, I have a hard time trusting what you're saying, because I think you might be Googling whatever it is you're saying.
Damn, looks like I'm untrustworthy. Looks like I'm untrustworthy.
The thing that Nate said right there too, though, Russell Wilson doesn't suck. We have to take into account that the guy had a messed up finger that required surgery last year. Never should have came back when he did. The only reason why he came back when he did was because Seattle was still in the playoff hunt. If Seattle would have been out,
last year his finger was messed up.
This year, now he's going to a new system this year with a head coach that had no business being a head coach. After what Russell Wilson did his first 10 years in Seattle, you can't tell me that he forgot how to play football.
That's the only reason I'm giving him a pass, because I got to see him without.
And here's my thing.
I think you're right.
He's been awful this year.
You know what? But I think you rest him, but I also think you bring in a coach, and I think you got to have Russell Wilson's buy-in on who he thinks.
I think you have to ask Russell Wilson some input on who he wants as a head coach, or what kind of coach that he wants.
I also think he got to be more with the team too, because you got your own office. You don't really talk to nobody. You do these dumb slogans. Broncos country, let's ride.
Hold on, time out. Stop. Come on. But and that's the part that bothers me. So what if he does a slogan?
Yeah, I don't care what he does.
I'm not saying the slogan thing. I'm just saying stuff like that. I'm saying you're not trying to interact with the team. You got your own office.
Because listen, if I'm Russ, I don't want to interact with this team either. Because every time I come around the corner, a brick is thrown at me. I don't feel safe.
But again, I think if you want to really look and see if Russell Wilson's your guy, then you have to bring in a coach that he feels comfortable working with. That way, when he still sucks, you can say, okay, now we gotta let you go because we brought in the guy you said you still suck. Now it's time that we gotta pivot and go a different direction. But on the flip side, if you bring in a coach that he works well with and it turns your team around, well, then that just tells you that Nathaniel Hackett was the issue all along, right?
And here's my thing. I just have a couple things real quick. So first of all, Damien says, how's that Nathaniel Hackett's fault? Because Nathaniel Hackett doesn't know what he has in Russ. What he's doing is he's trying to play as if he has Aaron Rodgers, and he's trying to force that onto Russ. You can't do that. No, this is not like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, where they can't run for nothing. You go put them at a 40-yard dash, they run at 5-something. You got two different guys. When it comes to Russ, he loves rolling out the play action, going out of the pocket with a shifting pocket.
That's his game.
That's where he thrives. That's his bread and butter.
That's how he can see downfield being a shorter quarterback. Get out of the pocket.
The problem is, too, I think Nathaniel Hackett designed an Aaron Rodgers type of offense.
Before Aaron Rodgers got there.
Russell Wilson trying to run it, and you can't do that.
No, and here's my thing. If you don't want to fire Nathaniel Hackett, fine. But you're going to have to sit down with him and say, yo, look, Nathaniel, Nathan, Nate,
They
whatever you want me to
switch the
call
whole
you.
offense around.
Like, yeah, like, okay, you see this man right here? Like, I want you to look at him. That is Russell Wilson, okay? He is the antithesis of Aaron Rodgers in every way imaginable, okay? Aaron Rodgers does not talk to his family. I guarantee you Russ lives with his, okay? Aaron Rodgers, like, he got the long hair. Russ got Jerry curls, okay? These are two different guys. You got an old guy and a younger guy. You got a white guy. You got a black guy. These guys are the antithesis of each other. Why are you trying to treat him like Aaron Rodgers?
Are you basically saying that Aaron Rodgers is a Scientologist, and you look at Russell Wilson and he's a hardcore Baptist liner?
I'm gonna tell you right now, Aaron Rodgers hangs out with Tom Cruise. 110% he hangs out with Tom Cruise. But like,
I understand. I think one was a Scientologist and the other was a hardcore Baptist. Let's go.
But if you want to keep Nathaniel Hackett, I think the opportunity is there. I wouldn't keep him personally, but if you want to, fine. Before you make that opinion, the determination, you need to sit down with him. So there's going to be 3 people. The GM, it's going to be Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson. And the first thing I'm doing from the GM, take a look at your quarterback. Okay? Now, I'm bringing the TV in. This is what he's good at. This is what he's done.
They got to make it work. Like,
Can you,
they
like,
have to. So
like, and that's the thing. I don't think Russell Wilson is trash. I just think what he's trying to do, he's trying desperately to not step on anybody's toes. Mm-hmm. And I said this, Chris, I think I was talking to you about this a few weeks ago. I think it was week 4 or 5. I said, if the Broncos want any hope of saving this season, I understand Russell Wilson is a nice guy. I get it. I love it. But he's going to have to go to Nathaniel Hackett and say, shut up. Don't call nothing. I need to figure out who I'm talking to. There had to be a point where Russ had to put his foot down. And ironically, the one time Russ puts his foot down, it was out of his control because he got a concussion.
I give you Russ. I think we'll play better next year because I think this year, after watching what he did, Russell Wilson seemed like the type of guy to fix his flaws in his game. I think Russ is actually going to go to the drawing board and study the game more than allow. It seems like in Seattle, how we're looking at it, it seemed like Pete Carroll is a mastermind, and we got to give Pete Carroll more credit than he deserved. I'm going to give more credit.
Hell, look what he did with Geno Smith, right? Yeah, he resurrected Geno Smith's career from nothing to something.
Yeah, Pete Carroll is a very solid coach, and I think people need to respect that now. So I think Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll set the offense up so nicely and set it up, even though Russell Wilson said he didn't listen to everything, which I believe is BS. I think they set the offense up very nicely for Russell Wilson and his strengths. The differences between Nathaniel Hackett and Denver, Russell Wilson's played poorly. He's not making the throws he could make, but also the system. It's like what Stat Guy and Pride said. Basically, how they're running it is how the Green Bay Packers run their offense. They're trying to use a two running back system where they used the running back, one that can catch out the backfield, which was the Melvin Gordon guy. And before Jamal Williams, I forgot his name. His last name was Williams too. For Denver, and he was the bell cow, the AJ Dillon. They was gonna do a lot of that. No, it wasn't Mike. I forgot what Williams.
I know you're talking about him.
He was a rookie the year before, Williams, and he tore his ACL in the beginning of the year. They wanted to do that system, but it's like what Prod said. His game is mostly play action, absolutely, but it's mostly we roll out play action, bootlegs, and then
Javonte Williams.
Yeah, Javonte Williams. Thank you. And it's like his game is roll out, play action pass, and he throws it deep. He throws the intermediate route. He can dink and dunk, yes, but his intermediate route, that's why he got the Cortland Suttons, the Jerry Judys, the Patricks, even though he's injured, the KJ Hamlers, all of them. The only thing that sucks is he don't have security blanket when they got rid of Noah Fant. I believe that was a big loss.
That was a big one.
That's a big loss, but honestly, it's more than a system. That's why you got to put Hackett. I got to see what Russell Wilson will do out Hackett after next year. If you give him what he wants and he still underperforms, I don't think he'll play as bad as last year, because last year is
right. That's what I'm saying. Like when you bring Russell back from his hiatus, you need to have the right coach in place that those two can work hand in hand together if you want it to be a successful marriage.
Because he can't play as bad as last year. Because this year, like honestly, is like a statistically like all-time terrible performance by a quarterback. They simply can't score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think
it's hard to watch Denver. Denver's the worst team to watch offensively in the NFL.
Yes.
Like if you really watch them, it's like bad. It's like it's not even because of bad. It's just the offensive game playing in the scheme. It's just
Yeah.
awful.
And it's horrible. But again, before I try to say Russ is trash because you're in a new situation. You're in a place you've never been before, doing all new stuff. This is what I'm waiting.
Pride, whenever you ever seen a quarterback drop like this, though, we
Never,
never seen a franchise quarterback take a drop like this.
Never.
Yeah.
Let's keep it up. But the only time
Russell was a bona fide Hall of Famer before he got there. Now it's to the point where people are questioning it.
He still is, and if anyone disagrees, we can fight. But the only other player,
I think he is also.
Yeah, but the only other player who had this type of downfall was RG3, and that was because he blew his knee 18,000.
Well, I blame the Redskins for RG3 though. I blame the Redskins for how they abused the shit out of RG3.
No, but
they knew that he shouldn't be on the field, but they put him out there anyway. They knew he had health
because he was one
they put him out there anyway.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is like that fall from grace where you looked at a guy. Granted, RG3 was shorter, but you looked at a guy and you're like, man, this guy is special. And then all of a sudden, he ends up going down. Now for Russ, I'm gonna wait till next year. If next year he does this again, now we have a problem.
Well, what if they bring back Russell next year? Well, they will, and then they keep Nathaniel Hackett. And then it doesn't work again. Who are you gonna blame? Because nothing changed.
Well, hold on. Like I said earlier,
that's an organization problem.
It is
right. If he ends up, Nathaniel Hackett ends up changing how he's doing it, and he goes, you know what? Let me look at some old Seattle days and go from there. Then we have a different conversation.
Well, that's okay.
You have to make your system fit your personnel.
Right. And if he makes no efforts to change his system, now in my opinion.
It's true too, Gonzo. The system doesn't the personnel they have is not meant for that system.
There is one way Denver could salvage Russell Wilson too, and that would be to bring in Darrell Bevell as the offensive coordinator. Russell Wilson played at his best when Darrell Bevell was the play caller in Seattle.
I mean, that's another thing. I mean, that's a legitimate thing.
Most coaches, like, they're smart enough to say, hey, Russ, what are your strengths and weaknesses, and watched his game because he was in the NFC with him. So you should know how he plays and his strengths and weaknesses. I thought that's what scouting and, film room is for. But I guess that doesn't make sense to me. It's just a fact. It's just a coach that he's the prime definition of a guy that just wasn't ready to coach.
Well, I mean, I said this before, he's just not a coach.
He's not.
Nathaniel Hackett is an offensive coordinator who needs someone to look at him and go. It reminds me. Some of y'all here know wrestling.
Can Damian clarify what 3 seasons Russell Wilson had that were bad because he's never thrown more than 11 interceptions in a year?
And he's been to the playoffs almost every year when he was in Seattle. He was the most winningest.
The fact that you want to entertain Damian is amazing.
That he had in Seattle was 2016, and he had
amazing
4,200 yards passing, 21.
Jay, that's why I keep putting them up there.
Hold on, just real quick. I just want to make sure.
You my boy, Blue. You my boy.
Real quick, I just want to understand.
This is like his first bad season, I'll say.
This is
his first egregious season.
Right.
I've never seen
up until now.
That's egregious.
Because even last year, with all the struggles, he still had 25 touchdowns and 6 interceptions last year. With all the struggles that he had with his finger last year, he still had 25 TDs and 6 picks. So it's not like he played even that terrible last year.
He
gets to cooking in the beginning of the season. That's the crazy thing. When I'm like,
and that's the problem. For 6 weeks, he was a favorite to be MVP until his finger decided to go on a sabbatical. And that's the part that blows my mind. Like, we can't. Excuse me, we can't pretend like, oh yeah, he was a bum. No, this man was the favorite to win the MVP.
Yeah, Russell Wilson never been a bum. This is just a bum year for him. He's a bum.
Yes, my man literally this man pulled his pants down and was just urinating on the league. Gets hurt, and now all of a sudden, oh bro, yo, Deontay, he got hurt. Even though he's having MVP year, that means the last 3 years he been doo-doo in the butt.
I think NFL 1 year, like on the top 100 players, they rated him number 2. Behind
come on, bro. Damien, do me a favor.
Russ has never been bad. It's just this year. I don't like
favorite, Damien. Get out of your bed without equipment, and maybe I'll take you legitimately. Until then, just be quiet. Wait for your A to come get you. I just want to say one thing real quick, and then we can move on because I know Dustin wants to talk on some random bump.
Oh, Gonzo, bro, I asked you how you feel, bro. Like, I know that hurt Saturday.
Oh, it's hilarious.
No, yours is funnier. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, nah. See. Can I address it real quick before we give it to Gonzo?
That was hilarious.
I just want to address it real quick.
And was Jacoby Myers a quarterback in college?
He better not have been because golly,
quarterback
man.
in college.
my man said, yeah, I saw Mac joints open. But then you gotta put a little more mustard on that joint, Papa, because my man severely underthrew him.
I think he was a quarterback in college.
You better not. But listen, I'm going to say this. The original plan was to play for overtime. Jacoby Myers, and he admitted it, I tried to be the hero. I'm upset with the L because had we went to overtime, I think we would have won. I really do believe that. I will take one positive from it. The mere fact that not a single soul dogpiled on him. Immediately after the game, he took accountability. Ramondre Stevenson said, hey, yo, that play starts with me, so I got to take accountability. And then Michael McCorkle-Jones was like, look, man, after the interception, if I make that tackle, granted, Mac Jones shouldn't be talking because he got stiff-armed to another dimension. Like, that stiff arm is second only to what Derrick
get off
Henry
me.
It's only second to what Derrick Henry did to Josh Norman. It's only second to that. And that's just because I'm convinced Derrick Henry picked up Josh Norman, put him horizontal, and then pushed him. I'm convinced that he picked him up. That's the only reason why it's second.
Hey, I just have a quick question, man. So in the NFC at the number 7 spot, Washington has a 7-6 record, and Seattle and Detroit both have 7-7. What do you see Washington holding on to that spot and make it into the wild card, or do you think the Lions, or do you think the Lions or Seahawks? And if so, what team do you have move up in that spot, Lions or Seahawks?
Lions.
I think
the Lions are going to make it.
Because Washington got to play San Francisco this weekend.
Yeah,
And respectfully,
Washington got that game was a bunch of BS yesterday.
It's weird how it lines up.
I understand Terry McLaurin, that illegal spot, but
that blew my mind because you can see him do it twice. You can see him reline up in the
he asked, and then he looked at the ref and asked the ref. The ref
right. So that's weird to me. But again, that's what happens when you got Taylor Heineke.
The PI where I've seen him even before the slow motion, I'm like, he grabbed him. That's
the PI was terrible too.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You're talking about on the left side of the end zone. It was the opposite side of where it was a different play, but it's the opposite side of where Scary Terry was.
Don't get me wrong. Whoever goes, one of them teams that go in, they're getting beat to sleep out of unless they play in Tampa. But
yeah, Tampa beat the bricks off them.
Washington has Dallas in week 18, and they have San Francisco this week, and then they have Cleveland mixed in between. So I think Washington goes 1-2 the rest of the way. You look at Detroit. Detroit's got Carolina this week at home. They should beat Carolina. They have Chicago and then Green Bay their final 3 games.
Yeah, just state.
Detroit.
When Washington lose, Ron Rivera is fired. I just want to let that be stated. I love Ron, but he's gone after Washington.
Can I be honest? Can I be 100%
I don't think he'll be gone.
No, I think he's gone.
No, he's gone.
I think they call it a firing. I think after this year, no matter what happened, he's going to that front office because I'm sick of this.
Yeah, he's resigning. I think he don't want to be here no more.
100%, because every single time something happens, instead of Dan Snyder answering, they put Ron Rivera. And Ron Rivera...
And he's a football guy. Like, he only cares about football. You know, he's one of them guys.
That's it. I think it's starting to bode on him. But again, Ron Rivera's not dramatic. He's not going to try to, be a dramatic guy. Like
I think wherever he goes...
You can tell with his body language that he's about
I think wherever if he gets fired, whenever he leaves Washington, he's going to get a job somewhere.
Hey, I got one more question. So, in the NFC South, right? Tampa,
2012, he was
and Jacksonville are both 6-8.
Oh, Damien. All right, Damien, I'm going to crucify you. Sorry, Jay.
Hold on. Let me. Hey, why worry about Damien, man? Hey, nobody gives a damn about what he thinks. Damn, y'all gotta get past this Damien bullshit.
Hold on. Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
Can I say one thing real quick? Just real quick. So 2012, he was a rookie. They went 11-5, 64% completion percentage, a little over 3,100 yards, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Why are the problem?
Because I want to make him look like an idiot, 100%.
Well, he already is an idiot. How much more of an idiot can you make somebody look?
I
Jay,
just think
I
it's
ain't gonna
funny.
lie. I'll love
He
it. I'll
makes
love a
himself
show.
look like an idiot.
Jay, I'll love a show when Damien is legit on air and I can legit ask him these questions like, do you really feel this way?
Has once. I think
Yeah, he's been on here a couple of
I want to ask him, like, do you
Hold
really
on,
feel
hold
this way?
on. I just want to know. I just got look, and you can make this short and sweet, and you go back to Damien all you want, and I'll beat the fuck out of here. Okay, I just want to know one thing: 6-8, Tampa versus Jax. Who do you have getting the playoffs? Who do you have missing the playoffs?
Better than Tampa.
I have Tampa Bay missing the playoffs because I think Carolina gets that division.
I
think
wow.
I do too.
Okay.
I am with.
That's a great
Then y'all both need to be.
Wait, hold on, one at a time, so we can figure out what y'all are saying. So you have Carolina getting it.
And Pride, you can attest to this from the morning shows, like even before you took your sabbatical. I had Jacksonville winning the AFC South.
And he did. I will back Dustin.
No, he did. He did.
I
call that from the
don't
jump.
think Dustin don't rock.
He did call that from the jump.
Deontay, you got Jacksonville, Carolina, Tampa. Who you taking for the South at this point?
Jacksonville in the AFC South, man. But I got New Orleans.
That's what I say getting it. I got Jacksonville getting it too at this point.
But I got New Orleans.
Jacksonville's in the other conference.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Oh, Jacksonville's they're not the same conference.
No, they're AFC.
They're not the same conference?
No, Carolina's in the NFC South.
Chris,
that
that
makes sense then.
Brother.
Never mind.
I think the Saints are winning that. I think the Saints are going to win that division. I think
You think the Saints will?
You think the Saints?
Wow.
I'm coming with a bold prediction. I think the Saints are.
That's not a bold prediction, brother. That's a dumb prediction. And I know about dumb because that's like 70%.
I think the Saints are.
Who you got winning that division?
You think it's TB12, Pride?
I think so. I mean, think about it. Who else?
And he got to stay with TB12. That's
no. I'm only doing this.
Oh, it was Tennessee. Damn it, that's what I was thinking. Tennessee is at 7-7, and Jacksonville is at 6-8. Who do you have winning that division?
Jacksonville.
That's what I meant to say. I don't know why I said Tampa. I meant to say Tennessee.
Jacksonville's the better team. The Saints is winning. I think the Saints is winning the NFC South though. Tampa.
Here's what I got to say about the NFC South. Next week, the Carolina Panthers will play the Detroit Lions. That's most likely. They're most likely going to lose that one. However, the next 2 weeks, Carolina has Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Sam Darnold was not playing in either one of those 2 games, and they still ended up coming out with the victory.
Like we all said, the Falcons are just a dud. I respect.
Man, hey, Falcons are not even a relevant thought anymore.
PJ Walker.
But seriously, hey, so out of that,
Buccaneers 21-3. What do you think is going to happen with Sam Darnold as that quarterback?
I don't know, man, because we've seen Sam Darnold play quarterback. And
hey, listen, I'll tell you this.
Respectfully, bro, I love Sam Darnold.
Once Baker left Carolina and Darnold slipped in, that's when all of a sudden Carolina became relevant again. So don't overlook too much on Darnold because he is part of them coming back.
Even after he got,
I think that was more. I think that was more of Matt Rule being gone and Wilkes taking over. And Wilkes being a hell of a lot better coach than Rule.
Right.
The Panthers' next 2 games was the Lions and the Bucks. I think they're losing to the Lions. Personally, me and the Bucks. I think Tom Brady is not going to lose to Sam Darnold.
You can't raise your hand, but does anybody have Tampa making it into the playoffs?
I do.
No,
I do. I have them winning the division.
If they don't win the division, then no. I don't think Tampa is.
Man.
And then what about Jacksonville, real quick? Hey, Jacksonville, does anybody see Jacksonville winning the division, or are y'all still rolling with the Titans?
No, I think Jacksonville got that.
I'm going with the Titans.
Jacksonville got the team. Trevor Lawrence, like I said, is playing the best football as a quarterback in the past month.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to ask you guys is, can anybody say that this season of NFL is so incredibly crazy that there's teams that we still don't really know? There are certain divisions that we still don't really know about, and there are certain teams that probably a lot of us have written off, but are actually prominent teams now. I mean, it's so up and down. There's no clear-cut person.
No, I think this is the most wide open season in a long time. I understand the Eagles has the best record, but the Eagles have a strong deficiency on the rush defense when we're seeing it. We seen it yesterday. They're bad at rush defense. I get Jordan Davis is coming back, but Eagles still had deficiencies. And also, if you look at the game, Jalen Hurts first check down is A.J. Brown, and then he's just going to move around. If you can just got good secondary play, you're going to beat it. And you know how to play that run. You just take A.J. Brown out the game most of the time. That's the most successful time you have. Washington proved the point. I just think it's the most wide open. The Chiefs are terrible at defense as always. The Bills are very inconsistent.
And the Broncos and Texans have proved that.
Don't get me started about the Dolphins. My God,
something about Goda. You better watch how you speak on his great name.
Hey, all I know is the social media quarterback got him.
And hey, one other question about
Justin Fields.
No,
Justin Fields.
Hey, on the Cowboys stand for
the
NFC East.
Herbert.
Like who do you think goes farther?
QB at best.
Who?
I said what I said and I meant it.
He said average QB at best. Damn.
At best, bro.
Who?
Get out of here. There's like 15 quarterback. Give me Trace McSorley over him, bro.
Who
I couldn't say that with a straight face. I couldn't say that with a straight face.
I said real quick. Out of the NFC East, 3 teams are going to be in the playoffs, right? You got the Giants, you got the Dallas Cowboys, and then of course you got the winner in the Philadelphia Eagles.
Unfortunately,
who goes the farthest? Do you think the Eagles are the ones that go the farthest?
Yes, Eagles.
100%.
Eagles. 100%.
They're the only
Eagles are going
the
furthest because they're in the divisional round.
Yeah, the Eagles
get the first round bye. They're going to lose.
Yeah, no,
they're
I mean,
the
first round bye, but
I don't know about that, Skip. I don't know about all that.
I think it's going to be the Niners.
You can have a first round bye and not go far.
I think the championship is the Niners and the Vikings.
But here's my thing, like
the Eagles are not beating the Niners.
Yes, they are.
When they play head up, and I don't.
Yes, they are.
I don't think they're going to beat the Vikings like they did.
Deontay, here's where
so Brock Purdy's all of a sudden a top 5 QB.
So here's where I have to say against this. Brock Purdy's a rookie. How have you seen rookies do in the playoffs?
In theory, when Burrow, even though he wasn't truly a rookie, technically he was not
took him to the Super Bowl.
But really, you can say when Burrow went to the Super Bowl, that really kind of was his full season. So that really was his full rookie season.
And he's been in the Bengals system for like a year before that.
Well, I get that, but how much did he play on the field? Honestly, he went down quick.
He still played a couple of games.
Year, so
Jay,
he still kind of was in a rookie season.
I'm gonna tell you the difference between Joe Burrow and Brock Purdy.
Joe
Burrow can play football.
Oh, I get it. I'm not comparing them either. I'm not comparing those guys, by the way.
The kid is a phenomenal talent. Brock Purdy is like, oh man, I'm scared. What do I do with the ball? Throw it, throws it backwards. What are we doing, bro? My man, it is crazy.
He's not asked to do everything.
Mac Jones.
He's not going to be
but what I'm saying. Meanwhile, you're talking about Mac Jones. Who's your quarterback again? Yeah, stay in your lane. Anyways, right? Because here's my thing, bro. Like,
Mac Jones, your quarterback, staying. Who is
Pride. Why don't you give Purdy some love? Give Purdy some love. Man,
I'm not giving him. No, he doesn't deserve love.
He's still damn near.
Dustin,
he's doing pretty damn good for not being.
He's playing.
He's doing pretty good. Everyone else is doing good. My man is just there. He's like when Kevin Durant, Joe Golden State. He ain't prepped the food. He ain't set the table.
I'm gonna go get something real quick. I'll be right back.
He ain't doing nothing.
Ask me,
Dustin. Let me ask you something. Do you remember, Dustin, in a playoff game? I think it was the NFC Championship game. How many times did Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball?
7.
You know which game I took. And we killed him. We killed him. This man Brock Purdy literally played even worse and less of a role than Jimmy Garoppolo. And I'm supposed to look at this guy like,
and that's just that defense.
Brock Purdy. He is going to starting on a team where he's not going to be asked to do anything. San Francisco has the number 1 defense in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan's system has proven to work for Jimmy Garoppolo. It's proven to work for Brock Purdy so far, and it's proven to work for Trey Lance when he's had his opportunity to start.
I don't know about that, Skip, but go ahead.
Trey Lance was 3-0 as a starter last year, and he lost his only start this year, but he only played one series before he got
doing literally the same thing that
That's
Jimmy
what I'm
G
saying.
is
Like,
doing.
that's Kyle
He's doing
Shanahan's system. It's a good running game, a great defense that's led by D'Amico Ryan, who's going to be a head coach next year. And then it's a quarterback that they just asked to make the throws you're being asked to make. And if Purdy can play that way through the playoffs, San Francisco might be.
All of their receivers are great runs after the catch, so they use a lot.
But he's not doing that in the playoffs, though.
Routes.
He doesn't.
So we're not. He's not doing that in the playoffs.
He can play the same way Garoppolo played and throw 7 passes a game.
But, okay, Jimmy G did that for Jimmy G did that for one game. You're gonna have to have Brock Purdy do that the entire playoffs.
Yeah, and as long as that defense plays the way they've played, that's all you're gonna need.
I don't think nobody. They got by far the best defense in football. And
I'm not. Listen, I ain't taking nothing away from their defense. I'm not.
They made every quarterback that's played them look pedestrian.
But here's my point. I'm not taking nothing from their defense. I think San Francisco has a phenomenal defense. You know who else has a phenomenal defense?
The Eagles.
The Broncos. Someone let me know their record. And why? Because of their quarterback play. That's the point I'm trying to make. I understand that they got a great defense, and I'm not knocking them.
If you got C-Mac, Ayuk, Debo,
and guess what? And Debo, listen, and Debo, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, they're all useless because Brock Purdy too scared to throw the ball 2 yards deep.
Hey, to be honest with you, Craig, your head coach is the only reason I'm giving the Patriots some credit.
You're saying that like you just said a nice little zinger. If that's the only reason you're giving me credibility, your team got no credibility. So if you think you got a zinger for me,
I'm
Papa,
saying
you
the Patriots. The Patriots.
That's what I'm saying. And the Broncos, no credibility. So I understand you're saying it's just because of my coach. That's fine. That's adorable. But a swing and a miss, I'd rather have credibility because I have the greatest head coach of all time than you with Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett needs to
All right,
go.
stay in your lane. Stay in the lane. I'm toxic today, boys. I'm toxic today. Who wants to smoke? And by the way, Damien said at least Purdy don't do no stupid cute play like Mac Jones. That lets me know that your special ed self did not watch the
game. He didn't even watch the damn game because Mac Jones ain't the one that did that.
Mac Jones handed the ball off to Stevenson. Stevenson, he threw it back to Jacoby Myers, and Jacoby Myers got the meanest stiff arm
I've seen in a long time.
No, that right there, I got you. But let's be honest here.
That stiff arm was vicious.
But by the way, Jay, you're muted, bro. Jay, you're muted. But let's be fair here. Anyone really thought Mac Jones is taking down?
My bad. I'm back.
No.
So my thing is, he got stiff arm.
I'm glad he tried. I like he tried. That shows.
Hey man, shut up, bitch! Don't talk to Nate like that. I don't want to hear that shit. Fuck you and your credibility. Hey, the Patriots suck. You got bodied by the Bears, bitch. I don't want to hear none of that shit.
Hey, you cannot say that to special ed people, damn it. That's rude and insensitive.
Oh, Mike.
Calm your tongue.
He also said your guy is
the
social media quarterback, not my guy.
That's all he is,
That's
bro.
what he said? That's what he said?
Yeah.
You're bogus. You're wrong. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, get out of here. Boo, get out of here. In 4 years, you got one from that bump, I'm going to laugh at you.
Can I ask everybody a question quick, since not everybody's been on this panel every single day?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I know I brought this up on Friday, and I just want to ask everybody else's opinion. Heading into the game on Sunday, Justin Jefferson had 1,500 yards.
Oh, he's cracking. He's breaking.
Does the D stand for douche?
And he needs to average 125 yards per game to reach 2,000 yards on the head.
He's breaking it.
Sunday against the Colts, so you think he gets to 2,000 knowing who he's got to play the rest of the year?
Oh, yeah, he's breaking it. You know what?
I think he's just shy.
If the Eagles beat the Cowboys, if the Cowboys beat the Eagles, then I think he's going to try to break it because that means they believe they can get that number 1 seed. Actually, no, there's no way they can reach that mark. Wait, aren't y'all 10-2?
No, we're 10. We're 11-3.
11-3. Dang. So, yeah, it's going to be.
But you got to remember.
Honestly, I'll be honest.
You got to remember, San Francisco's 10-4, and if Minnesota loses one more game, San Francisco takes that 2 seed.
I think he might most likely
play their starters all the way to the end.
He most likely take that. I think he can. Yeah.
Because they get the Giants this weekend, whose secondary is not great. Then they get.
We'll have a monster game against somebody.
Wait, hold on. I got a question. Look at what a sensational. What a guy. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, he can't play in prime time. Yeah, prime time. These left nuts. Dustin, can I ask you a question? Dustin? Because you seem like you're a smart guy. I ain't gonna be here, Mike. That's why you need to get out of here. As I was saying, so really interrupted for the second time.
No one interrupted
Dustin,
you, bitch.
Let me ask you something, Dustin. Since there was a huge change in the NFL, they added a whole game. Since it is not the same as when the record was made, should it not count? Question mark.
No, it's the Roger Maris conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm bringing up. I'm being petty. I'm a petty bitch today. I'm a petty bitch today.
You a petty bitch every day.
Hey, but that picture that you showed right there, Pride, with Kirk Cousins.
That was me.
Picture with Kirk Cousins. Who leads the NFL game-winning drives this year?
Kirk Cousins.
Look at my stuff.
Hey, Kirk Cousins. If Aaron Rodgers or any other top quarterback would be leading the NFL game-winning drives, they would be talking about the MVP conversation.
Hey, you know who second is though, Dustin?
Who?
Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
You want to
guess what? He's second. He's second. He's number 2. He's number 2.
Always coming up short. Always coming up short. Ain't even the best white boy at quarterback.
Just like me, always during sex. That's why I got my girl pregnant.
That's why you got 2 of them things, right?
Come on.
Hey,
2 times.
Hey, Pride. You know who got
quarterback?
Pride. You know who got 4 of them things?
Who got 4?
Check it out, Mr. Clay Thompson. Oh, baby.
I ain't with you no more, dog. I ain't with you no more. That hurt. That hurt me a lot.
It was a line. I was just looking at my memes. That's all.
That hurt me a lot. God damn.
Hey, it's nice when your hand weighs that much, huh?
Sensational.
Shut up, Jay. Shut up, Jay. That's your daddy, Jay. That's your daddy, Jay. I don't want to hear you, boy.
But no, Kirk Cousins.
Hey, it kind of is my daddy, and I thank you for showing the picture of him because I didn't have one. Thank you.
So Deontay, what was you saying, homie?
No, I was saying, but
you can't hurt my feelings. I'm made of Teflon.
But my thing is, Kirk's played outstanding. Yeah.
By the way, did you like his haircut? It was phenomenal.
I mean, respectfully, bro, he's been playing phenomenal for like what, 5 years now?
Last year he played phenomenal too. But
I would say like 3.
So I say 3 to 5 years.
Since he's gotten to Minnesota, he's never thrown more than 11 interceptions. He's never had less than 28 touchdowns. He's never had less.
He's played phenomenal.
That's what I'm saying. Like, ever since he's gotten to Minnesota, ever since he's been in Minnesota, he's been balling out.
I think it's just we
so don't win. That's not his fault.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
defense used to be very bad last year. Was very bad at one point.
They were losing last year under Mike Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer's an asshole.
The team was 2-8 in score games last year with Mike Zimmer. They're 10-0 in 1 score games this year.
I think Mike Zimmer was actually like the most hate I've ever given to a single person in the NFL ever. I just did not like that man.
No, Mike. I was like that with Matt Nagy.
That's a whole different conversation.
I said
we don't talk about that here.
Well, yeah, I mean Matt Nagy.
We don't do that here.
I just want to say one thing. I feel bad for Matt Nagy because he went to a garbage organization in Chicago and they blamed him. When it's a stupid organization. Your best quarterback is Jay Cutler. What do you expect me to do? If I'm Matt Nagy, I'm gonna be like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I have Mitch Trubisky. I made him look good, and then I got these fanboys.
And your average NFL fan can only name 2 quarterbacks that ever played for the New England Patriots, and one of them's Tom Brady. So
no, we had that other guy. We had that the other guy with the face.
Matt Castle. You had Brian Hoyer. You had
Brian Hoyer.
And who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck about any of them?
Bailey Zappi.
No, that wasn't the point.
Yeah, Matt Castle. We talk about Matt Castle.
I forgot. Jimmy G, your best friend. I forgot. My bad.
I be dapping him up sometimes. You feel me? I hit him up. I'll be like, hey,
who doesn't love Jimmy G, bro? He just seems like a likable guy.
Bro, he way likable, way better than Justin Fields.
No, I'm not gonna say that now. Justin Fields.
Well, you don't gotta say that. Your guy is Justin Herbert. Stay in your lane.
Your guy's Mac Jones.
Stay in your lane.
Your guy's Mac Jones. Your guy's Mac Jones.
So what?
The wide receiver's Jacoby Myers.
Hey, did you guys? I'm Gucci. And who's your wide receiver?
Mike Williams.
You can't say Keenan Allen because he hurt. You can't say Williams.
I'll take a banged up Keenan Allen over a starting Jacoby Myers.
Oh God, no! I'm telling you, the 2 best ones. None of y'all started in New England. None of y'all boys started in New England. I'll
they don't want to play in New England. They're not going to get the ball, Mac Jones.
That's it.
They're not going to get the ball.
That's it. Okay. So you're mad because you won't get the ball with Mac Jones because they call run plays. Your guy too busy overthrowing dudes.
He's not overthrowing. Offensive line is a big factor, bro. Offensive line is a big factor in football.
Mike. picture this. Close your eyes. Take a journey with me, right? You got Austin Eckler wide open on Will Brown. My man throwing at the mascot. What are we talking about?
Hey, did you say that yesterday when he threw a? We need to register Justin Herbert arm as a nuclear weapon because that
you didn't finish that sentence when he threw what?
That's just deadly.
Deontay,
he
I'm
throws
glad you said
missiles.
that. No, you're right. It is a nuclear arm. Because
I'll
if
tell
you
you
drop
what.
on yourself, you still hurt yourself. So
Hey,
y'all are in the outside looking in.
Pride and Frankie and I actually had this conversation, bro. Chargers fans want Justin Herbert to be Josh Allen so bad, bro.
So bad. Just go get Josh
Allen. So bad,
Just
bro.
as good as Josh Allen.
So bad, bro.
Honest. He's as good as Josh Allen. And Chicago Bears fans want Justin Fields to be the next Michael Vick.
I hate it wrong there.
That's crazy though. That's crazy though because he already broke Michael Vick's records. So
I don't know whether to be Josh Allen.
Really, the only thing left Justin Fields needs to do to be better than Michael Vick is to just go to jail at this point because that's the only thing he hasn't done. He's done everything else. So what the fuck else you want him to do? You want to go beat a dog?
You said that?
You don't like that, huh?
You said that?
Right. I said whatever the fuck I want to say. That's the only thing left. Because
my boy took the team to the NFC Championship.
Yo, turn your camera off, bro. Turn your camera off. We can't get cold with him. Yo.
Oh, God, y'all better
get cold. You won. I ain't got no comeback on that one. That was a great game.
I mean, listen. Let's be honest, bro.
Hey,
Deontay, I got you, bro.
Go wipe it off, Frankie. That's all.
I'm gonna tag you in, Pride. I'm gonna tag you in.
I got you, bro. I'm about to tag him because maybe that would make him better. Maybe that would give him an opportunity to sit down, work on his arm, and actually watch some film. Because this brain dead seagulls out here throwing a double coverage. I don't want to.
Really, that's crazy. That's crazy because yesterday, hey, you got a minute, Gonzo? Do we have a minute? Gonzo,
no, Mike, we've used about 15 of those minutes talking about crazy relevant stuff.
Mike, hold on. Mike, I got 2 kids, man. Let me live.
Hey, check this out, Pride. Check this out. Watch this.
Mercy.
Nah, Uncle. It's cool. I need a minute away from Jay, too, because Jay's going to try to stop me. I don't want to hear it. Best defense in the league is the Philadelphia Eagles, and who had the best passer rating so far this season against them was Justin Fields with a 1.
All right, I didn't do that. I just want the record to show.
I can do what the fuck I want to do. I brought myself back, and what? I'm like motherfucking Luke Skywalker. I don't care. Like, bro.
I mean, Luke Skywalker didn't. Okay, I get it, but
get
here's my thing. I mean, did y'all win or lose?
Better defense. I don't care what you say.
Not my fault. What do you want me to do?
Okay. Get out of here. He had a good passer rating on checkdowns.
Woo! Had 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and had 95 yards rushing.
How can you intercept screens?
Mike defended me earlier, so I'm not going to say anything at all.
Jalen Hurts threw 0 touchdowns against the Bears defense. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear none of that shit.
Who threw 0 touchdowns?
Number 6.
Hey, he gave me 36 fantasy points. Thank you, Jalen Hurts.
Who threw 0 touchdowns?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, 3 rushing though.
And that's fine. That's fine because he was out here outrunning your guy.
No, he wasn't.
He made some great bombs too, though. I ain't gonna lie. The one to AJ Brown.
Yeah. Self-destructing bombs because he destroyed his own team. Justin Fields is. What a bum.
Hey, I'm gonna be real, Mike. We don't see no.
Are you paying quarterbacks by yards or touchdowns? Oh wait, no, but you're a Chargers fan, so you don't really know the difference. It's
Mike,
tight. Whoa.
Mike, you want to be honest with you?
In theory, you do have to have the yards to get the touchdown. One does kind of lead to the other, so I don't know what we're talking about here.
That's crazy. Now Jay's going to chime in like Dak Prescott's anything special. I don't want to hear none of this shit.
Your
Nate's here praying to God Prescott.
Keep it on Justin Fields and his non-characteristic mattering quarterback.
Right. And keep it on Dak and his motivational speeches where
last time I checked, Dak is 10-4. And you're what again?
Right.
You're Mr. Freaking Irrelevant. That's what. Let me know what Chicago is. Chicago is Latin for Mr. Irrelevant. That's what Chicago stands for. Mr. Irrelevant. The only time you've ever been relevant was when Michael Jordan was there with the Chicago Bulls. Outside of that, you are freaking irrelevant.
And guess what? Michael Jordan had to retire for the Rockets to do anything in their entire franchise. So
now you're going to go Rockets. I was just talking about the whole
city. You just mentioned Michael Jordan.
But if you want to go there.
The Bears. Dustin, chime in. Let me know right now. How many games Michael Jordan plays in the NFL?
Bears get a quarterback that's
0. Right.
Better than average.
Play with your mama, Jay McLovin.
Hey.
No,
Let's keep mamas out of it, okay? Your mama just accepted my friend request. Your mama accepted my friend request.
Yeah,
So let's keep mamas out of it. Okay, let's keep mamas out of it, okay? By the way, my mama does think you're cute, Mike Hughes.
By the way,
My mama said, you know what, Jay? Mike Hughes is pretty hot.
now.
That's the response to you, Damon. Shut up. Deontay, I want you to say what you're going to say because I think I know, and I think I'm on your
Bears
side.
fans are happy. They finally get a quarterback that's better than Mitchell Trubisky and Jay Cutler. Now they want to talk shit to people.
Right.
Yes,
so
sir.
let me ask
Yes,
you this,
sir.
Deontay. Let me ask you this. You sign every free agent. You trade for Khalil Mack. You do all this.
We got hurt.
Oh, your pussy hurts?
We got hurt.
I mean, that's how Justin Fields plays.
You can't say pussy. You can say wussy, but you can't say pussy.
I can say whatever the fuck I want.
You got it. No, you can't. You got to say wussy. That's how the FCC rolls.
At this point, I don't think it really fucking matters.
Hey, I'll tell you what. With eyes on, all bets off, baby.
James Levin, I will
Justin,
say this.
we have not seen a highlight throw from Justin Fields ever. It's just his legs.
Guess
And
what?
they say
And we haven't
Justin
seen-
Fields
Does he
can
throw the ball,
run.
Guess what?
If
Guess
he
what?
does
We haven't seen Justin Herbert throw 60 yards with a completion in his whole career because that
It's called.
motherfucker hit in
Did
the
you watch the
mascot.
Miami game? Dipshit.
Bro,
It's
you're-
called the
yo,
Miami
Oh,
game.
the Miami game against the worst secondary in football? That's crazy. Play with your
Nah,
mama.
that's Dallas, Papa. Settle down. Settle down.
I think
Respectfully,
Dallas
of
is
course.
right. I gotta, I can't.
I don't want to say the team honestly because somebody might get offended because somebody's on this panel. So I'm not gonna say
Why we gotta talk about New England? Leave us alone, damn it.
Minnesota secondary is the worst secondary in the NFL.
I knew you were thinking about
Secondary.
You know why? Because you got rid of Mike Hughes. Mike Hughes was good. Y'all got rid of
Mike
him.
Hughes is trash, just like Justin Fields.
Nah.
Looks like we won't have a show tomorrow. You know who won't show? Justin Fields his next game.
That's
Trash
cool.
game.
Bears get Justin Fields. in
Guess
it.
what? Mac
Best
Jones
team in
lost
the
his
division.
job to some motherfucker who barely even got drafted.
Meanwhile, he started yesterday. So again,
Oh, and he
take
started
my
yesterday.
pick
And what happened? And what happened?
Was it him?
And what happened?
It
Y'all
wasn't
handed
Jacoby
the
Myers
ball.
trying to do too
Y'all
much.
handed the ball off to the other team to lose the game. That's crazy.
Because we're playing for overtime.
Y'all just
I like
wanted
how
to go
Chris
home.
is-
Lazy.
Chris
Hold on,
is
hold
lazy,
on.
like,
Hold on.
lazy
You're talking about
my
wins.
fault.
Mike, you're
Lazy.
talking about wins. Meanwhile, aren't you projected to be a top 3 draft pick?
Spell win.
In your lane, one must
No
stay.
win.
Get out of here.
No win.
Yo, Dustin, you want to talk about
No
Amari?
win.
You want to talk about Amari? Because I'm putting a verbal beatdown on him. We got to talk about the beatdown he put on his kids. So you want to talk about him?
Yes, I want to talk about
But that really was a good play at the end, though, with New England and the Raiders.
No, it was
man.
not a good play. No, it was not a
No,
good play.
no,
It was
no,
not a
it
good
was
play.
no. Well, for the Raiders, it was a good play. For the Raiders,
No,
it was
it
a
wasn't.
phenomenal
No,
play.
it wasn't because he literally was handed the ball. He
No, I
didn't
know.
do
That's
anything.
what I'm
ran
saying.
backwards
That's
before
what
he
makes
threw
it
it.
so damn
That's-
funny.
It's like if Pride walked up to me, handed me $1 million, and I called myself a self-made millionaire. I did nothing.
That's true. And I wouldn't have minded.
And that's the
play
American
if we
way.
were, like,
You do
with-
nothing
Mike,
in
I
this
have a
way.
better
Five
analogy
yards
with this. Mike, I have a better analogy with this. It's
What do
like
you
you were coming up to me and handing me a slice of cake. Does that mean the slice of cake tastes pretty good?
It probably does, Nate. What the fuck? I don't even know what that means.
Normally, but I've had
Somehow
some
not.
that
Anyway,
don't.
Hold on, I can fix this. I can fix it. No big deal. I got this. We can fix this. Hold on. There we go. It is now
Bullshit.
fixed. I don't know what the hell you were talking about with some analogy.
Oh, God.
Damn cake and
I can
shit.
fix this.
Bring back Nate.
I'll be honest. I'm just glad that this is happening, and I'm not being blamed. I just want to thank the heavens. That I'm just not. I also want to thank the heavens. We didn't.
Y'all survived.
trash
You
Y'all
can
had-
No,
make
but
your
seriously,
movie
hey,
too.
that whole Amari Stoudemire thing was completely crazy.
I'll be back. I gotta grab my charger.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh yeah,
All
I
right,
was
bro.
awful. I was surprised when I seen that.
I mean, so respectfully.
How do you hit your own daughter? Like, how do you hit your own damn daughter?
Oh, easy by cocking back. Look here, man. If my kid, I'm telling you right now, if my kid talks back to me in a disrespectful manner, I'm gonna send it to the upper room because I ain't finna take no disrespect under my household. Now it says that he punched her. Okay, maybe not.
Well, he did. Hey, he did draw
But-
blood off of her. So they said she was bleeding.
Probably he's 7 foot tall.
And
Hey,
Why-
what,
why-
what-
hold on,
hey, but what,
hold on,
hey,
hold on.
but what did our parents
It
always
doesn't-
teach us? You don't hit women.
respect. Look here, man.
But you don't hit women. You don't hit women, man. You don't ever hit women.
Okay, no. First of all, enough with that foolishness. Because
No, we don't hit women. Now, I think-
Jay, stop. Because you
don't hit
no,
women.
stop. No, stop. You're acting like he went to the bar and smacked a random.
She's bleeding.
That's his kid. Now the bleeding is excessive, yes, but to pretend, yep, you don't hit. That's his own.
Hey,
daughter.
watch this. If you want to discipline her, give her the belt. Hey, go corporal and give her the belt.
I personally gotta see. I gotta see like pictures or something to see how bad is it.
Well, I mean, there's a chance that Stoudemire fractured her cheekbone. So
shit.
Okay,
I'm just saying. Hey, I think what he did, you cannot condone. You can't condone what he did, man. I don't care if it's just or not. Hey, there's a certain limit to all things, man.
Hold on. You making that comment shows me one or two things. You didn't listen. Because I said him hitting her hard enough for her to bleed is excessive. So you didn't listen.
No, I listened to you. I think hitting her period in the face is wrong.
And then two, you're scared to keep up with your own point. Because at first you said you should never hit her. Now you're switching it to maybe it was a slight bit excessive.
No, I'm telling you, you give her the belt. That's what I'm saying. Hey, that's how we grew up on. You give your child the belt. You don't slap him in the face, you give him the belt. That's how we grew up back in the 70s.
I used to get my shit slapped in the mouth. I don't know.
Hey, watch this. But again, slap in the mouth and fracturing a cheekbone are two different things, right? But again, I don't agree with any of that. I think the only way that I was taught is on the ass, not in the face, on the ass, man.
But the only reason I'll say if it's not a problem,
New Days,
put her hands on him and she try to charge.
You old as hell, 100%.
I am old. I'm 50 years old, and I have a hard time relating with the younger crowd these days.
Put her hands on him too and try to do.
But
something.
But here's the deal, too, though.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if that's my kid, first of all,
because my dad didn't put his hands on me.
But you have to also understand too, though, right?
Oh my God, no!
Hold on, Pride. I get what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Right now.
But hold on, no, I'm gonna say this. Look, we don't live in the same times as we did back in the day. You cannot hit these kids because now you're going to jail. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, left, right, up, or down. If you hit a child, defects, number one, is going to come in and take your child away from you. Number two, you're going to go to jail. So, I mean, if you want to hit a child and cause her to bleed, which we all know that was excessive, and even Pride, even you knew, you said it even yourself. But regardless, if you leave a mark on a child, you're going to go to jail. That's just the way the world works.
I just want the record to show. In the course of 5 minutes, he made 3 different conversations. I said the fact that he struck his child, I'm not mad about that. Did he get excessive? Yeah, because once you got blood, that's one thing. But you ain't finna tell me my kid is gonna come up to me, disrespect me, and talk about, oh yeah, everything gonna be sweet. Because guess what? I like this house, my roof.
Yeah, I did that same approach, and I went to jail. No, watch this. My child disrespected me, and I went that same approach, and guess where Jay wound up? Jay wound up in jail.
And that's you.
So I know how it works.
Jay, there's other circumstances. We don't know all the circumstances. I'm not going to poke and prod.
That's true. You're right. No, you're right. We don't know
different circumstances. What I am saying, he slapped his daughter. Notice the 2 key words. His daughter. Stop pretending that he went to a club, got drunk, and slapped the bartender because she wouldn't give him another drink after last call. That's what I'm saying.
I'll be doing
now, if he, according to the report, it said that he made her bleed. That's excessive. That is excessive. If he broke her jaw, that's excessive. That is excessive. But if a guy punishes his child and hits them, I'm not calling for your head. Period. I'm not calling for your head. I'm not. Because you have the right to whether or not you want to punish them one way or another. That's your call.
I gotta see the stuff because he's actually publicly denying that he didn't.
Well, he has, right? So they're gonna do an investigation.
It's like
the feeling that you think you have a right. Okay, that's fine if that's the defense you want to make. But if you hit your child and it leaves a mark, or if you hit your child and your wife calls the cops on you, guess what, Pride? You're gonna go to jail. You're going to go to jail, and you're going to get assault charges. I'm just trying to tell you the way the world works. The way the world works is if your wife calls the cops on you because you did that, your ass is going to jail.
Are you done? Are you done?
No, I'm not even getting started. I'm not even close to getting started. Because what you're saying is completely false.
You have yet to start. If you're a car, your engine blew 3 times.
Go ahead, hit your child. Hey, if you want to hit your child, hit your child. But when you go to jail for it, you go to jail for it. And you're going to go to jail.
Just because you hit your child doesn't mean you deserve to go to jail. Point blank, period.
Oh, no, absolutely. It absolutely does, because defects.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Well, then you better hope your child, your mom, or your wife's, whoever it is she is to you, doesn't call
worry about nothing. Niggas ain't worried about nothing.
Yeah,
I'll say both of y'all.
Well, hey, anybody listening to this program, if you follow Pride's advice, don't get mad when you go to jail. Probably gonna get you put in jail.
Cry about it. Because this is the
crying
same dude.
about it.
This is
I'm
the
not
same
crying
dude trying
about
to
it.
justify
I'm just
Jerry
trying to
Jones'
tell you the
picture.
facts of reality
So
that
you
the
ain't
advice you're
nobody
giving
giving
out
no high
is
road.
completely stupid.
You ain't nobody give me high roads. You ain't nobody to tell me how to live a high road life. A man
Hey,
who justified
listen,
Jerry Jones'
no,
picture.
I said live however you want to live, but the advice you're giving is stupid.
Ball for about the 8th time this episode.
The advice you're giving is completely dumb.
I'm not giving it back. See, again, that's like what?
No, you're saying, well, if my child comes up to me and says this, that, or the other, well, she gonna get popped. Okay, well, pop her. But then when you go to jail for it, don't bitch, grind, complain about it. Because the first one to the telephone, the other one goes to jail.
Just because I go to jail doesn't mean I'm guilty.
Okay.
Conversation.
Let's see how that applies in the court of law. Let's see how that applies in the court of law.
Come on, bro. Smoking it worked for Johnny Depp. He vibing. It worked for Deshaun Watson. He vibing.
Okay. Hey, all right. Hey, I'm going to succeed that. When you said Johnny Depp, I'm going to succeed the conversation.
Listen. This is all.
No. You won. Hey, James throwing up the white flag. You won, man.
What I'm saying, yes, if he really hit her bad enough to, because Deontay, you said you saw something about her cheekbone getting fractured. And
it doesn't even matter if it leaves a mark. If there's a witness that saw you hit her and they want to file a police report against you, and the police come there and the witness says, "Hey, I saw him hit her," you're going to jail. That's just the way the world works.
You're babbling. I'm
babbling. You don't think that's true? You don't think that's true? Because I've seen it happen.
DCF
I personally have seen that happen.
You need to leave a mark on the child.
If you got witnesses,
I've been involved in DCF.
If you got witnesses.
There's part of this argument right now.
Who's going to win Monday Night Football tonight between the
now we're changing
Amari
the subject.
Stoudemire. Amari Stoudemire. That's who's winning. Amari Stoudemire.
I think whoever slaps the fuck out of somebody.
I don't think Amari Stoudemire is going to win there, but okay.
We'll see what happens. We'll see whether if they come out with pictures of the blood and the swell, we go from there. But just because a man slapped this child, we got to bring him to jail. Nope, get out of here. Get out of here.
There's parts of that argument where I agree with both sides, but there's parts where I disagree with both sides.
I agree and disagree with both sides as well. There's a certain way, I personally believe what a person, like, disciplining your children should be between that parent and that child. But Jay's also, if you do it excessively, if you make something that shows that the person's bleeding or leaving scars, 9 times out of 10, you're getting locked up.
And I'm cool with that. I'm cool because, like I said, if it's true that he really fractured her jaw and she was spitting out blood, that's excessive. And I'm not going to defend him.
He need to be in jail for that.
Period. And I agree with you there.
Why would you punch your daughter?
But what I'm saying is,
you also put
so you don't think a wife can file domestic violence charges against him and have you put in jail? You don't think that's a thing? If you don't think that's a thing, I'm gonna tell you wrong.
You do this every time. You lose a debate and you switch it. This is the same time.
Man, it's not switching. It's the same damn thing. Pride, stay on point. Now you're getting off track. No, what I said to you is, if there's a witness that sees you strike a child in the face, and they want to file charges on you, they can file charges on you. If you don't believe me, I'll give you 2 lawyers that will tell you the same damn thing. And if you're listening to Pride's advice, you think you can do that, you're freaking retarded. You're going
coming from the brain dead moron who's like, bro, if you so much as look at y'all the wrong way, you need to go to jail. What?
Who said look? Who said look? I didn't say look. I said you did.
What did I do? Like, what was my point?
You had no point. You've never had a point.
You're allowed to.
I personally deviated myself right now.
You're crying. Where? Cry some more. Maybe if you have
I'm not crying.
I don't care.
But I think you're winning though, Gonzo.
Deontay, what was my point? If I changed it, you let me know. My point was, and Dustin, Chris, Mike, y'all was here. If I'm switching on my point, let me know. I said if he wants to hit his child, he can. But if he leaves marks, if the blood and the broken jaw or fractured jaw was legitimate, that's way too. That's over the line. Was that not my point?
I think.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
No, your TED Talk sucks ass, but okay.
Coming from the dude who's literally on 15 different TED Talks. We're talking about this, and you're over there talking about you're in another TED Talk. Why is the sky blue? Get out of here.
He said Jay's basically saying
you get out of here. You and your domestic violence, get out of here.
And that's fine. That's fine. And you're saying that like I'm supposed to cry.
No,
let me know
I don't expect you to cry. I think you actually think
about
domestic violence is an okay thing to do. So, no, I'm not going to cry. I just feel sad for you that you don't know the difference between domestic violence and actually disciplining your child. But if you think domestic violence is cool, hey, okay. Hey, that's you. Do you, boo-boo?
Dustin, Mike, Deontay, Chris, I want to go one by one. Dustin first. Did I ever make that statement?
No.
You said no. You said it's okay to hit your kid in the face.
Shut up.
If you think it's okay to hit your kid in the face, that's domestic violence.
Shut up.
That's domestic violence.
I'm not listening.
For the court of law,
shut up.
That's domestic violence.
I can't talk about this because
I
stuff like that
to hit your child in the face.
Stuff like that implied anything like that.
Yeah, you did.
Dustin,
You're all about it. If she disrespects me, I'm gonna hit her in the face. I'm not gonna leave a mark. But I'm gonna hit her in the face, boo-boo. That's domestic violence. That means you support domestic violence.
What are you babbling about? What are you babbling about?
I'm not babbling. I'm just quoting what you believe in.
Listen, you said it. Did it imply that I agree with domestic violence?
Yeah, I did. You said if your child disrespects you, you're going to hit him in the face.
Did anything I
so
said?
You said you wouldn't leave a mark.
I agree with domestic violence, Mike.
How does that? That's domestic violence.
Talk fine, bet, Mike. No problem, Mike. No problem.
Sorry, sir. I had something in my throat. No, I mean, you didn't. Nah, I'd say no.
Okay. Did I imply that in any way, shape, or form?
I wouldn't say you did.
Okay. Mike, all right, but at the same token,
no, shut up. You had 15 minutes.
No, you have
nothing.
You spewed out
nothing. I mean,
Mike, did he not say that if a child disrespects him, he's going to correct it?
Deontay, let me ask you a question. No, get out of here.
I mean, he said he was
correct. So you don't think that's domestic violence, Mike?
You think it's okay? I agree with domestic violence, Deontay.
No, it's all right, man. Hey, look, I got it. I heard what you said. Everybody heard what you said. Play back the tape. Go to rewind mode.
Deontay,
and then play back what you said, and then you tell me you don't support domestic violence.
You didn't say you support it. You didn't say.
Did I imply it at all?
Yeah, you did. The minute you said you were going to slap your kid in the face if they disrespected you, that means you support domestic violence.
I'll say this. I'll say it on both of y'all sides. Let me mediate on both of y'all sides. Pride, you said. I'll specifically Pride said is if he hurt her in a way like. She's like a
no. Say what he said now. Be clear. I'm saying he said if he disrespected her, that he would hit her in the face.
If he hit her like it's a street fight and he just knocking out cold, breaking bones and stuff, making her bleed like that.
You think it's okay? You think it's okay to strike your kid?
Isn't a bad thing.
Just for clarification, did I ever say that was okay?
You didn't say it was okay. You said if he did to a certain extent, it is foul and it's bad.
Oh, so now we're going to a certain extent. So it's okay. So he is saying it's okay to hit the face. You just got to be careful that you only do it to a certain extent.
I personally think it's not okay to hit in the face. I believe he could have did it in a different way.
I'm just trying to understand it. That's all.
You can't understand shit because your comprehension is at an all-time low.
Yeah, right. And you're the one that thinks it's okay to hit a child in the face. Okay, pardon me if I don't take your advice to heart.
Then don't take my advice. First of all, I'm not. We're good. I'm done. And two, shut up because your advice gonna have.
Why don't you shut up? Why don't you
shut
up over there, man? Damn.
Hey, Dustin, what are they?
Fuck out of here.
Hey, hold up.
Get the fuck out of here.
Kevin O'Connell said.
What?
What Kevin O'Connell? What comments he made?
Basically, Kevin O'Connell went to the head of officials this morning and said, "Watch the tape," and he's basically saying that people are illegally targeting Justin Jefferson. And if you watch some of the last 3 games, he does have a point. Some of the hits they've been putting on Justin Jefferson, where they've been hitting him.
They hit him in his legs. They hit him in his legs a lot. They hit him in his legs, and they
is he like trying to say there's like a bounty bowl situation?
No, I'm not saying like a
He's not saying it's bounty. He's saying the hits are not by accident.
I think he's saying or hitting him to get him out the game.
Yeah. He's saying some of the hits that they're putting on him are not by accident, and teams are starting to target him.
And I think that's every team with every star player, though.
I mean, to an extent, because once you start saying the word target,
unless you're the quarterback, you can't hit them how you want to hit them. So you're gonna hit like you think like I'm gonna give an example, like Cam Newton, for example. A long time ago, Cam Newton used to get rocked. Josh Allen get rocked the same way Cam Newton gets. Josh Allen's style is similar to Cam Newton, how he runs. Josh Allen get the calls, Cam Newton doesn't. It just sometimes it just doesn't happen with the team. And I think it's just deliberate. Like they hit Jefferson in his legs a lot. They held him a lot when he was on the ground tackle after the tackle. Not even before the game was over and the run timeout just to hit him. Like I think this is a lot of star players, but I think it's bogus that I hate that the NFL it sounds like coaches and players, etc., because they get mad over ref calls. Like for example, even though we talk about the New England and Raiders game, if you seen that tiptoe that they called for a touchdown that they gave the Raiders, that was a BS. That was blatantly out of bounds. Like his toe was out of bounds.
But let's be honest, all year, because last week
Washington and New York, the refs just been bad all year.
I think that was even worse, in my opinion. That one's even worse. That Washington,
it's just bad officiating all year. This is the worst officiating I've seen in a long time. Personally, watching the NFL, and I've been watching NFL my whole life, and this has been bad officiating. It's getting to the point where it seems like college officiating is better than the NFL because it looks like college players. Like the college officials know what they're actually seeing. NFL, and
not only that, the consistency too.
Yeah, like there's no consistency. Like, okay, this is like I'm gonna say the Chargers game, for example. I'm gonna say we got the spin of luck when Justin Herbert got hit with that roughing the passer. I thought that was a clean hit. Like it's just bad officiating. I don't think it's a bounty thing, Dustin. I don't think he should get fined either. But I believe teams are utilizing.
No, I'm not.
The situation is terrible, and refs are not going to get every call.
I don't think Kevin O'Connell's getting fined. What I mean by we'll see if fines come out to the players if it's revealed that they are.
Oh, okay, I read that wrong. So,
I mean,
I don't think fines are going to come to the player. I think it's just been bad officiating. Like you could tell the games, but I think the refs. It's come to the point where I'm thinking the refs are betting on these games as much as draft and all these books. Calling these games.
And I know you're a Colts fan, Chris. But did you not watch some of that game and think Minnesota was getting screwed? How they had 2 touchdowns called back. They had that fumble in the fourth quarter that Chandon Sullivan picks up, runs it back for a touchdown. Play was blown dead, but the ball came out before the ball carrier was even hit.
They lost.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch a lot of the game, but refs have been terrible all year. I was driving on the road Saturday when the game was going on.
Yeah, there was one play where Darius Smith forced the fumble before the whistle was even blown, pretty much before the ball carrier was even.
It was that scoop and score, right? And they called a flag, and the flag put them. Y'all got the ball back, but
we got the ball back, but it should have been a touchdown. But then there was another play early in the first half that Minnesota got a touchdown on that was called back for the rest for nothing.
But referee, I don't know. Like, I remember back in the day, us like on. Remember when there was like people like Khan that always support refs like this, a hard job. I understand it's a hard job, but it's come to the point where some of these refs look like they just fixing some of these games to keep the spread.
No, listen, and
it's coming to that point. How bad officiating has been.
I've gone to arguments with some people before. I genuinely believe
refs are betting on these games.
Nah, but I'm convinced, no lie, that there are some calls that you cannot blow. There's just some that are just naturally easy. And my thing is like, it's those easy ones that they're blowing that makes me really question.
You think the NFL should have like more refs or have a ref watch the game on? I think they do have a ref watch the game and they still don't make the call. You think it should have like more refs on the field?
No, you know what they do you want to know what they really need? Who is it? I think it's Fox. They have that dude, what's his name? That every time that there's a flag, they get a professional whose job it is to just break down the play and see whether or not the flag is legitimate or not. They needed a legitimate one of those during the play.
And then they also need,
you know what I mean? Like, because they'll do the bad calls and then done.
And then they also need to change their replay system, make it like the XFL was, where you can hear and them talking back and forth and how they get to their damn decision, because some of these replay reviews are terrible.
Or personally, I think you should be able on certain flags, you should be able to use your challenge flag because the big thing also is that you can't use the challenge flag on some of these calls. I think the challenge flag would be beneficial so the ref can look, was that really a hold? Was that really a PI? Or was that a PI? Was that a hold? And that'll make the game a lot more smoother. Add another challenge flag. Give 3 challenge flags, add another official, and then like what Chris said, hear what they got to say so we can figure out, okay, this is how they got the situation. Because if you look at the replay, broad as day, you could tell, okay, he blatantly grabbed him, they just didn't call it. Or the guy got held, and the reason he got a sprained ankle because he was getting held the whole play, and nothing happened.
Yeah, like you were just saying too. If you could challenge penalties, Washington would have thrown a flag on that pass interference last night.
Easily.
Washington would have thrown a flag on the offsides that Terry McLaurin actually was said to be onside on the play before.
And he asked the ref twice. Yep. Checked the ref twice. Said, "Hey, am I good?" Ref said nothing.
If you were allowed to challenge penalties.
And here's the thing, like if you don't want to do all that stuff, that's fine. I feel like when it's calls like that, they need an answer for it. Like you need to be able to sit there and be like, "This is why I called that." And then actually say it.
Refs
because
need to get fined publicly. I'm not saying like as much as the NFL players. I'm saying like refs should get like at least a $200, $300 fine if it's like an egregious call that can ruin a season.
No. My whole thing is if it's a bad call, period. Because a lot of times what happens is because y'all heard what Scary Terry said after the game.
No, I
trying
didn't.
to be calm. So the way he was talking about it, he wasn't tight. He was calm. He was just like, "Hey, I asked him twice, and that's it." I imagine if they find him for that, because on a technicality, he is questioning the officials. He ain't wrong for it. So some of these officials need to, like, if you make that bad of a call, you need to be able to have them ask you, "All right, what was that?" And then they say, "Okay, well, the first time I told him, yeah, he went up, and then he went over the line. My job, I only have to tell him once. The second time, it's up to me whether or not I want to do it. And I chose not to say anything. People think it was a thumbs up. I was just shrugging my shoulders." Something like that, where now it makes sense. Because from how it looks, you got asked twice, and you said yes twice, and then you threw the flag.
I just want to know what they be saying, because I know like when they get to a flag, when it was a blatant flag, they said it was no flag on the play and they huddle up. I wonder what they see, because
they got to fix it because of with the sports betting getting so popular. You got to fix it because you have to protect the integrity of the game, especially now you're partners with all these sports books.
Absolutely. They're gonna have to make a rule where they can reverse certain calls and add another challenge flag to reverse penalties. Because there should be a way you can reverse a PI call or challenge that was a PI call or challenge. I know they're gonna probably argue that's just gonna slow the game down. Then that's so be it. Just slow the game down, because it's not fair to anybody that you're making these calls and basically you're protecting the referees, and you're saying, "Oh, if you talk about the referees or you talk about how the game really went in your opinion," because I'm not gonna lie, there's a whole bunch of, you could say a call of it should not be the end all be all, but it's going to be a big factor. It changes the momentum in the game, and nobody understands that. And I believe like Roger Goodell needs to really do something about this, because everybody, players, fans, owners, general managers, etc., are questioning the officiating and how the games are getting officiated. And the NFL needs to really look into it, because it's getting out of hand now. Like it was like some of these non-calls are low-key disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, those are the ones that I think they should answer for. Not the borderline type of things. Those ones that are just like completely and utterly ridiculous. And they say, "Oh yeah, it's slowing the game," but
that's the only excuse they can make. It slows down the game. That's the only excuse they can make. Because calls are getting bad, out of hand. And these calls in football is not like the NBA where you got 82 games to fix your this thing up. You got 17 games and every game matters in the NFL. So they're gonna have to do something. It's like what you said though. It's like Gonzo said this in the past. It's stat guy. Just calls are not consistent. Like, okay, that was roughing the passer. Okay, but you use that, but it's the same identical sack, but it wasn't roughing the passer. Or they say you can't lay on top of a quarterback. You gotta sling him. You sling the quarterback is still roughing the passer. They say you can't grab the wide receiver after 5 yards, but you see this corner still grabbing this receiver and you don't make the call. You could tell it's legit physical play on it. I get if you see both sides, but if you see one guy arm just getting completely grabbed, come on, man. That's PI. I hate the PIs that the ball is nowhere near the guy and they still call it. That's the one that pisses me off because you like to say when you don't grab it, they were nowhere near the ball. But there's instances where the guy's nowhere near the ball and you guys don't call it. I think refs don't want to make them calls in those critical times in the game because they don't want to be a guy like, oh, I made that call. But sometimes you got to be the person like, hey, that was a
the rules can't change just because it's at the end of the game. Because any other time of that game, they'd have called that pass interference last night.
Yes, I believe so. I think it was fourth down.
We let them play because it was. We let them play. No, you don't let them play like that the rest of the game.
Stay consistent. Because that wasn't fair. Because you're saying you let them play like that at the end of the game, but you call that on McLaurin. Because even if you listen to the announcers, even said that call during this time where that call ever is rarely called.
Now
that specific penalty.
I'm gonna say one thing real quick. I'm not saying that this is right. However, I'd rather have had the no call at the beginning of the game than it were towards the end.
I'm the same way, so you can set the tone.
To be a game-changing factor. Yeah. And I'm not saying that these no calls are right, but I'd rather it happen at the beginning.
I'm saying we're not arguing that like the call is like you should make the call. We're all saying like if you're not going to make that call, okay, don't make that call the whole game. Let them play like that. Don't make them play a certain way, and then when that call happens, where that's a blatantly penalty how the game is played today, and you don't make the call.
Yeah,
switch up when the palms get sweaty.
We've seen that way too much, Deontay, especially this year, where teams will play a certain way for 3, maybe 3.5 quarters. All of a sudden, the fourth quarter comes, 5 minutes left, and all of a sudden they're throwing flags for stuff they did not throw it for the first 3 quarters.
Facts.
Officials will sit here and they won't answer as to why they threw a flag in that situation, but they didn't throw the flag.
Let me give you an honest statement. When you got a good pass rusher on a good edge rusher on the other side on defense, every lineman on that side commits a false start. But you decide to call a false start when it's 4th and 1 and they converted they're most likely converting it because this type of streak they're on their offense. That's the problem I have. You're trying to change momentum of the game.
You don't answer as to why you're throwing a flag in that situation.
And yeah, Anthony, you're right. That PI happened. It was the end zone judge that could see it perfectly, I bet, too. Right, he was close to him, seeing it right from across from there. I'm like, you see he's grabbing him. It's not hard to look at. That's my problem. Like, and the NFL seems like it's not doing nothing to change it, and it's keep getting worse and worse every year. Oh no, that far past the call wasn't a touchdown.
I don't think it. I 100%. I'll be honest. I do think we were robbed. I'm not even gonna lie. But then it's hard for me to state that with a straight face when we get the ball, we run the ball, and try to lateral it. That's where it's very difficult for me with a straight face to be like, yep.
Hey,
that's
I know this is gonna hurt
lost.
you. I seen some on Twitter. They said it asked Bill Belichick why you didn't let Mac Jones throw a Hail Mary the last play of the game. Somebody said because he couldn't make it. He couldn't make that throw.
I mean, I think he could have. I really do think he could have. But the reality,
I think y'all should have took a knee. That's what most teams.
That was my thing because I'm like, if we're playing for overtime,
take
why not just take the knee? If the purpose is to play for overtime, why not just take the knee and then
go to overtime?
Then go into overtime.
Yeah,
you know? But
it's in Chuck's defense. The Patriots pulled the Chargers. All the Chargers had to do was take it into overtime against the Raiders last year, and both teams make the playoffs. And yet the Chargers got too cute and let the Raiders kick the field goal.
Too soon, Dustin. Too soon.
Just saying.
It's just insane, dog. It really is insane. But like I said, I don't think it was a touchdown. But
and
it's,
you guys
like
want him to come back as my head coach.
Who?
Staley, stuff like that. Y'all are praying that for me.
Well, here's my thing about Brandon Staley. It all depends on who's available out there. Like if Sean McVay already has like
Sean
handshake.
Payton. I don't want.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Sean McVay.
Payton.
Sean Payton.
McVay's thinking about retiring though after this year. So
if you have
lined up,
if he already said yes, no, like if he already agreed and said yes, no problem, I'm with it.
I'm gonna make him.
Then that's one thing. If you don't have a legitimate replacement, or even Ron Rivera, if Ron Rivera leaves and he agrees, or that thing.
But I don't want Ron Rivera.
61
as my DC possibly. I want Sean Payton. I need a guy that's gonna make Herbert.
I'm just saying, what if Sean Payton doesn't want y'all?
That hurts.
So that's what I'm saying.
So that's like the girl. That's a guy that always wanted that girl, and then get the chance to get the girl, and then he just blows it. I don't want that feeling.
One job I think Sean Payton wants.
It's Dallas or the Chargers.
It's Dallas.
No, I think it's Dallas.
Honestly, I don't even think the Chargers have it like that. I think it's the Chargers.
I think it's the Chargers or the Cardinals.
Dallas.
It's Dallas.
You think you'll rather work with Dak Prescott? I understand that's his boyhood dream and that's his team. You think you'll rather work with Dak Prescott over
Sean Payton? If he takes the job, he's going to tell
Golden Boy from Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah, I think he would, Deontay, and I'm gonna tell you why.
The defense.
The reason is not only that, but the main reason when you go there, you know you got full control.
But you're basically
not getting that with the Chargers.
You're Jerry's crony if you're a head coach in Dallas.
No. Sean Payton will not be a crony. No,
that's why I think he won't go to Dallas.
I do.
He's not going to be
Jerry Jones
crony.
I don't think he's going to go to Dallas either.
Be like, you want me in Dallas? This is my show. This ain't your show.
Yes,
you let me coach this team. You let me make the decision. You let me bring in who I want to bring, or I'm not.
Jerry Jones
he's gonna have
is
all
known.
that in the. Hold on.
Jerry Jones known to get beta men type of coaches. Every time you get an alpha male,
but here's
they
the problem.
somehow leave.
Relax. Hold on. The last time he had an alpha male was who? Jimmy Johnson.
No, it was Bill Parcells too. We gotta give Parcells.
I think Jimmy Johnson
because Bill Parcells more came in there as I want to say, kind of like
an in between guy.
Yeah, because he wasn't there that long.
It. And he knew that. And he
okay, I'll give you the longevity. I'll give you Jimmy.
That's the only reason why I'm not saying Bill Parcells.
You're saying longevity. I can give you that.
If they told him you're going to be our guy going forward, I think he would have handled it differently. But I think since he knew he was just a stopgap guy, he was just like, I'm chilling.
But can we all just say we all think Dallas is plateaued though? We don't think they can be as good as they can because of the weak. I'm not going to say because of Dak's a weak spot, but Dak can't do what all the other quarterbacks can.
But here's the thing with that. If you give Sean Payton the control, which again I think Jerry Jones will. I think he will because Sean Payton.
Jerry Jones' pride is too big.
Everyone said that same thing about his pride being too big.
We're gonna ignore you, Damian.
Hold on.
We're gonna ignore you. But
hey, Nate.
Anyway, everyone thinks that he won't do it. He did it with Jimmy Johnson, right? And then he didn't want to fire Jason Garrett, and eventually knew he had to because he had no choice.
Jason Garrett's better than Mike McCarthy. I hate to say it.
I mean, I don't think so. I think it's a step I think it's a horizontal step.
I mean, what has Sean Payton done since the Super Bowl? He has a .631 winning percentage as an NFL head coach, which is in the top 15 all time.
He's an offensive guru.
So the guy knows what the hell.
He almost made it if it wasn't for that blown call against the Rams.
And half the time when he was in the playoffs, it was the defense that let him down, not the offense.
And honestly, he's lost a lot of his playoff games off of just God-given plays from the other team.
He got screwed a couple of times on bad calls by refs in the playoffs, or he would have been in another.
Payton most likely would have beat a lot of them teams in AFC because that Saints was one of the most well-balanced teams in football. But look, just gave up.
And Nate, are you signed into the ASAP account?
Yes, I am.
Can you close the show out for me?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
Hey,
great show, guys. I'm gonna take off.
Yes, sir. I'll see you later, bro. But for me, I think Sean Payton not only wants to play with Dallas, but I think there's two guys that Jerry Jones will give all the control to. I think there's only two guys in the NFL he'll give all control to. One is Bill Belichick because of his track record, and two, Sean Payton.
I think he'll give Mike Tomlin all the control too.
I don't think he'll do that. No, he will not.
I wouldn't mind Mike Tomlin either. You know, if Pittsburgh just say we don't want him no more. I wouldn't mind Mike Tomlin.
I wouldn't
I don't know about all that, but I'm saying,
Mike Tomlin retires before Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm
Mike
talking
Tomlin's
about
there to stay. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if you see Mike Tomlin pull Sean Payton.
No, Mike Tomlin. The fact that he's got Pittsburgh sitting at 6-8 right now, with the mess that they've had to work with at quarterback this year.
That's true.
Never had a lose as a head coach, and guess what? He might not have a losing season if Pittsburgh wins out.
Yeah, he's never had a losing season yet. This will be his first year ever.
Right now, and they have a shot to finish 9-8. That goes to show you the type of head coach Sean Payton is. When you look at the injuries that they've had on defense, when you look at the crap that he's had to work with at quarterback this year.
Yeah, but Damon, for you to say Sean Payton's overrated, bro, I'd like to know what coaches you consider as good in the league.
I mean, Damon probably thinks Matt Nagy's a good head coach.
Someone once.
And by the way, he said Cowboys need to bring Parcells back. In my opinion, the man is over 80 years old.
Parcells done. Just because Bill's doing it doesn't mean Parcells can do it.
Thank you. But I will say this: I think Sean Payton going to Dallas, I think it puts him in a situation where Sean McVay will make the moves necessary. He will not care.
But do you think Sean McVay Because Sean McVay, if y'all been looking at Sean McVay, I know you're talking about Sean Payton.
Yeah,
I understand, but no, it's good. But you hear Sean McVay, since he's a young coach, he's thinking about just sitting, taking a sabbatical for a little bit.
Sean McVay's already got his next job lined up. Amazon Prime has already told him they'll pay him $12 million a year.
Yeah, so he's going to take a sabbatical because he said he wants to take a break from coaching a little bit. Would you mind seeing Sean McVay coaching again after like 3 or 4 years?
If he goes to Amazon Prime for $12 million a year, he'll never leave.
You don't think so? I think he'll come back. He's young. I think he's young.
That's what I'm saying. Because again, we got to remember it's a 3-year deal, right? So the Amazon thing, it was a 3-year deal. He goes, does that 3-year deal. I don't even think he'll be 40 by that time.
Yeah,
someone fact check me. So he still would be stupid young.
He'll be in his early 40s if he's in his 40s. He'll be in his early.
Right. So
he'll have another 20 years of coaching. I think he'll come back. He ain't John Gruden. He ain't a guy that I'm very to speak negatively on Gruden, if you guys haven't noticed. He's not John Gruden, a guy that was blessed with a team and
100%.
He's a guy.
I will say this.
He's a guy that actually can coach. He's an offensive mastermind.
That ring that he won in Tampa, that's Tony Dungy's, and I will scream that from the heavens, regardless of Tony Dungy will never get that ring. I will still scream it. That's Tony Dungy's ring.
Yeah, so I think Sean McVay will come at coaching, but I agree with you, Stat Guy. That's the money like that. It's hard not to, but I think he'll come back to coaching. I think he will find a spot that he thinks is best for him. He's gonna pull.
And then if he can't find that spot,
I think he's gonna pull the Sean Payton route. He's gonna find a spot that's best for him, and he's gonna leave. He's gonna get the best situation for Sean McVay.
Yep, and then if that situation doesn't work out, guess what he'll do? They'll probably go to
more
1 or 2
coaches are gonna do that.
Going back to Amazon.
Yeah,
that's
all the good coaches. Because that Rams team is gonna be screwed for years.
100%. Like whoever has to end up going there.
Well, besides coaching, I kind of consider the Rams to be the NFC version of my team.
No,
the Rams lost
coaching.
The Rams lost a lot from last year's Super Bowl team, and the biggest thing that the Rams are missing that nobody talks about: Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips.
Absolutely,
O'Connell and Wes Phillips now. Head coach in Minnesota, offensive coordinator in Minnesota. Where are the Vikings
right now? It's crazy because McVay always had very good coordinators, though.
Cooper Kupp last year at wide receiver. Who was the offensive coordinator?
Kevin O'Connell.
Look at the year Justin Jefferson is having at wide receiver this year. Who's the offensive play caller? Kevin O'Connell. It's no coincidence that Jefferson is having the year that he had coming off Kupp head.
But that respect, only thing the Rams did last year was throw it to Cooper Kupp. At least Kirk Cousins spread the ball.
So, but I don't know, man. The way
I just hate the Rams won the Super Bowl because you got dudes that don't even like football for real or got multiple teams and like to put that Rams Super Bowl.
I also think that, like, and I agree with you, Stat Guy, about the whole Kevin O'Connell thing. But I think problem number 2 is that they don't like to draft. They spend all their guys on free agents, which is good. But
they don't know how to develop players. That's why.
They don't know how to develop players.
They do, and
that's what's
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I think they do know how to develop. It's just for some guys, the patience isn't there.
Yeah, they just found
they were patient with Cooper Kupp. You see what I'm saying? They weren't that patient with Jared Goff.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like they'll be patient with some guys.
In their respect, Matthew Stafford is better than Jared Goff.
Right, and another guy. Like,
situation to go all in for the piece that they felt they needed. They went all in and got Matthew Stafford, and look what happened. It's not like they don't draft.
They won the Super Bowl. I'll give them that.
They drafted Jared Goff. They drafted Cooper Kupp. They drafted Cam Akers, who granted Cam Akers has been hurt. When he's healthy, he's shown that he's a very good running back. They drafted Aaron Donald. They drafted a lot of these pieces that have developed. So they know what they're doing. They just got to a point where Jared Goff got us to a Super Bowl and we lost. So if we want to win the Super Bowl, we need one more piece. And they felt Stafford was that missing piece. So they went all in, gave up all the picks to get him. And look what happened. They got the ring out of it. They're never going to take that season back. They're never going to be mad about that season.
No, I agree. I'm a big long-term effect type of guy when I think about stuff. I wouldn't trade. I love my Chargers win a Super Bowl, but I wouldn't trade my whole next 10 years of my life hating it just for one moment.
Yeah, and you could honestly put the Green Bay Packers in the same situation as the Rams this year because the Green Bay Packers had Luke Getsy as the quarterback coach last year and Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator last year. And look at the Packers this year with those two coaches being gone.
But at least with the Packers, they have the chance to rebuild. Teams like the Broncos,
some head coaches,
the Broncos and the Rams, they can't rebuild. Like they're done for like a good 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like some head coaches are only as good as what their assistant coaches are, and for as good as Matt LaFleur was.
Oh yeah, and Cleveland's done too if Deshaun Watson doesn't pan out.
For as good as Matt LaFleur was those first 3 years, was he really that good, or was it a matter of he had the right assistants in place to make him that good?
Oh, it was
assistants left.
It was the assistant.
LaFleur has been exposed a lot this year. And that's you couldn't say the last 3 years when Nathaniel Hackett and Luke Getsy were running the offense.
That's true.
And the same thing with Sean McVay. Sean McVay has always had Kevin O'Connell as his right-hand man.
I don't think that's the other reason why the Packers aren't good. I just think the other teams in that division caught up to them.
I do too, but for as bad as that offense is this year, and when
last year, Detroit and Minnesota, they're as talented as them. They just need the right pieces.
Yeah.
Like we seen even Detroit was bad. We understand that they were bad, but you can tell they have the potential. They love Dan Campbell. They're going to play hard for him next year. They have the potential to be something nice. And we all said the Vikings, if they can just close a game, the Vikings are a problem. We didn't think Justin Fields was. We thought Justin Fields was good, but we didn't think he can have potential to be a franchise guy if you put the right pieces. I just think the team's caught up to the Packers, and the Packers hasn't developed as well. I think like the Rams, they kicked themselves in the head. Cleveland, if Deshaun Watson doesn't pan out and they don't win the championship, they kick themselves in the head. Denver, if Russell Wilson plays like that last year, they're screwed. I just feel like it's going to be a different day and age now that dudes are not going to trade this many picks and give up their whole stock now for these quarterbacks just for one Super Bowl. I think the league is going to change the downward spectrum. I think Wilson very much changed that, but I just think that it's hitting a long-term effect because teams are realizing this stuff is going to ruin their chances. Because look at all the teams, for example, that went all in with one quarterback. Most of them are not in the playoffs right now. Only job you could say is Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo.
I wouldn't even say that.
In Dallas, I don't think they're sure on Dak. So he's going to say like Kansas City and Buffalo that they all in on their quarterbacks and they're a successful team.
Well, even then, like I disagree with that a little bit because they went all in, but they didn't trade. You know what I mean?
They traded Tariq. Kansas City got their compensation back for trading for Tariq from the Mahomes deal because they knew they wasn't going to get him.
And Buffalo made the Stephon Diggs trade to help Josh Allen.
No, but what I'm saying is like we're not looking at those trades. Like let's say that they had went and the Chiefs, they don't get any draft picks from the whole Tyreek thing. We're still not looking back at that Mahomes trade and saying you're dumb. We're not doing that because it's paying off for multiple years. Same thing with Josh Allen. It's paying out for multiple years. So for me, I think those teams are kind of in like in a different.
You're talking about the grooming wise, like the grooming.
Yeah, because think about it.
I can give you that.
You know, because you traded up, you got your guy, and you rolled out with your guy. You didn't just go trade for a guy.
I got a better question. Which one of these star-studded quarterbacks are in that move team are in the postseason right now?
Say it one more time.
Name these star quarterbacks that wasn't groomed on their team. They just left their team and they felt like we're the missing piece to a playoff potential, and they're all duds right now. Only person to say close is Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins been in Minnesota.
And even then, I was about to say, even then, it's kind of hard to say that.
And Kirk Cousins,
remember, he was a free agent.
Yeah,
right. He was a free agent. He's been there for a while now. So that's kind of where
most of these trades for these quarterbacks aren't working because like people don't realize.
I mean, and well, again, I would say Tom Brady, but free agent. So
I guess you could say Ryan Tannehill because since Ryan Tannehill was traded to Tennessee playoffs.
We had no faith in Ryan Tannehill winning no championship.
I do.
But the quarterback that the Titans trade or that a team traded.
He was in Miami. He was in Miami at first. Yeah, you're right. I'll give you. But Ryan Tannehill been on the Titans like for 3 or 4 years. Am I correct?
But even then, when the only name we could really say is Ryan Tannehill, and respectfully to Ryan Tannehill, that's a run team. That lets you know you're kind of scratching the bottom of the barrel. You know what I mean? Like. Again,
I think more teams are going to groom their players now.
Well, you're gonna. This is just me, and I've had this mentality forever. I feel like you should not move on from your guy until you've had him for his entire rookie contract, because not every single guy is gonna blow up. Not every guy is gonna like.
I believe your quarterback should be on your team at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, because here's the thing: because where people mess up, they swear it's gonna be like Joe Burrow. They swear it's gonna be like Justin Herbert, where like you see the guys and they look nice and you're like, oh man, that's something.
People forget Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like his first year, he was low key doo-doo, and the experience is what got him to be better and make the adjustments. A lot of times, guess what you end up doing? You end up sitting. Aaron Rodgers had to sit until Brett Favre left. Oh, but people want to tell me Brett Favre is an all-time great. What about Tom Brady? Like, anyone remember who Tom had to sit behind?
Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, and
the first overall pick, Drew Bledsoe was a monster.
Yeah, I settled down. He was settled down.
If I remember correctly, wasn't at the start of the season Tom Brady was like the third string quarterback of that year?
Yes. Yeah, he was the third stringer. And then in practice, he ended up getting to the backup, and then Drew Bledsoe went down, and that's why then entered Tom Brady, right? A lot of other guys are like that. When Dak Prescott had to sit.
Do you remember who the backup was that year?
No, the one prior to Tom. No, I don't remember his name.
No, when Tom was the third string. Do you remember when?
No, I don't remember who the backup was.
I want to say it was Kevin O'Connell.
Trash can. Get him out of here. But yeah,
I love that.
But I know he was on the team with Tom for a couple of years. So he probably was. But the thing is a lot of times
playing against his older teammates.
And the thing is, a lot of time it's like you gotta wait and actually have that, the actual the grind of finding your guy. You actually have to like go through that. You can't just be like, all right, cool, let's just trade him, because not like more times than not, it doesn't work out in your favor. Unless you kind of low key finesse the team that you're kind of going for, but unless you finesse them, it's always going to only work out for a few years, and then after that, it's going to naturally fall apart. Because when you have that new guy, if that new guy doesn't play at a high level his entire tenure, people are going to look at him sideways. People forgot Matthew Stafford and the entire locker room was not eye to eye. The only reason why no one talked about it was because it was happening even worse in Denver. That's the only reason. If Russ and Denver were better, Matthew Stafford would have been the equivalent of Russell Wilson because he was going through that same exact
Matthew
stuff.
Stafford went back to Detroit Stafford.
Exactly. And then the injuries hit, and then boom, here we are. So
that's exactly why I think that Matthew Stafford might be done after this year. It's because he's having neck problems again. The same thing that plagued him in Detroit for, 3 or 4 years?
He got banged up bad in Detroit. That's why I'm surprised.
When you have a chronic neck and back injury at 35 years old, at some point you just have to be like, it ain't worth it.
Stafford, after that Super Bowl, I would have just stopped because he got killed in Detroit, and Stafford's always been banged up his whole career. And honestly, they had him in this Hall of Fame hype. I would have been done after this. Matthew Stafford didn't have anything else to prove.
Mayfield, because I think it's just going to get to the point where the Rams are going to be like, Stafford, you're too much of a liability. You're 35. You're back and neck problems. We can't afford to.
You got a guy that throw just as much interceptions as you, but younger.
Yeah, we can't afford to keep you. We're paying you, so we're going to go with Baker.
And like I said, I think they have Baker, and I think it just really comes down to next year whether or not Matthew Stafford can play how he played his first year there. And man, I'm dying. And
if Sean McVay stays, I think Baker's going to be okay. I think Baker's going to be better.
100%.
Because he's very much – because I got to give the example. I seen what Sean McVay did when Jeff Fisher was the head coach with Jared Goff, and then the Jared Goff had a 360.
And then finally, Baker would have a quarterback battle that he would probably actually win.
I mean, and here's my thing when it comes
to
Baker.
He was better than all them quarterbacks in Carolina. I'm not going to lie.
100%. But here's my thing.
He's better than all of them.
What you mean, yeah?
He's better
Sam
than
Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold's more consistent than Baker.
Yeah, consistently on the bench.
Yeah. Personally, in my opinion, Cleveland's stupid for getting.
Well, Matt Rule's consistently terrible.
Knew that Watson was going to have to sit for as many games as he sat. They should have hung on to Baker. He was in the final year of his contract, anyways.
Yeah,
I think when Baker is like on his heels, using that analogy I used before, I think he is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold.
I just think
Sam Darnold's more consistent, and that's
no, he's not. He was so consistent that they traded for Baker.
Bad.
Yeah. Bro, they traded. They had Sam Darnold, and I was a Sam Darnold guy, but Sam Darnold was so bad they traded for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold's awful. He lost his job to a guy that played for the XFL too.
Like what are we like? Yeah, like PJ Walker. Respectfully, come on. What are we talking about?
Great comeback story, but come on, man. And he was a top 5 pick, so it's very hard to say Sam Darnold. I get it. The Jets was purgatory at one point. Still is. I love the collapse I'm seeing, but it's with Sam Darnold. We gave him a fresh start in Carolina. He got Robbie Anderson. He had DJ Moore. At first, he had C-Mac.
And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not even like, and the thing is like when I talk about it, I talk about when he first got there, when they had something overthrowing Robbie Anderson.
I thought they were a playoff team having Sam Darnold. I'm like, it had to be the Jets. Then I seen last year, I'm like, oh, Sam Darnold just
that's
awful.
What I'm saying. And before they got rid of everyone, he had talent and he sold. So respectfully, I can't. You know, I can't like if Sam Darnold was there just for this year, we have another conversation because this year the Panthers have been just crazy. But he was there before this year. Back when they had talent, back when the Panthers first got him, to Deontay's point, people actually thought, look, they won't win the division, but they'll sign a wild card spot.
Yeah, they started 3-0, you gotta remember, last year with Sam Darnold, and before you knew it, they were 3-8.
But come on, what are we talking about? And that was before the injuries hit too.
I'm not the biggest Baker guy, but I gotta say he's better than Darnold. He's better.
Clears him.
Yeah.
He clears it easily because the thing is like
Ain't no way.
I think he's better at times.
I think Cleveland would be a playoff team right now if Baker Mayfield was still there.
A playoff team, or they will be at least 500. They'll be in that.
No, they'll be over 500.
Yeah, they'll be over 500 because there was games that Jacoby Brissett didn't want to make the throw that Baker would have made.
Yeah, that's why Cleveland was stupid for getting rid of him. They knew that they weren't going to have Watson for as long as they weren't going to have him. They should have hung on to Mayfield, even if they wanted to sit Watson all season. They should have.
Even if Mayfield requested a trade, he would have still played. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't know about that.
Show his contract and then be done with it.
No, I don't know if Baker would have cared. I don't know about that. Because think about it, if he gets hurt, he's hit. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
He's hurt now. His stock dropped. It dropped worse. He should have stayed in Cleveland.
Well, from his point of view, from his side of things, I don't blame him. I wouldn't have stayed in Cleveland either. Why would I stay in a place that don't want me?
Okay.
Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
It's also a business. You should know he underperformed.
Right. Which now, if we're talking business side of things, he should have stayed.
Yeah.
He should have stayed. But if he doesn't stay, he doesn't end up in LA, which, let's be honest,
I think his contract would be bigger and he get to go somewhere he wants to go.
That's what I'm saying.
He played a lot better.
So I think it all works out for him in the end. I mean, it sucks he had to take this road, but I just hope he got humbled enough where he doesn't try to.
Baker could have did something. He probably could have found a way to be like 500 and then get Houston to give him a big contract and basically ruin Houston for another 10 years.
That's the team that I thought. And this made a lot of sense to me, and I think Pride, when you used to run the morning show, I brought this trade scenario up almost every day. We talked about it. If Houston was really set on trading Watson to Cleveland, why didn't they ask for Baker Mayfield in return?
That was the dumbest thing I heard too. I'm like,
they should have really did Watson for Mayfield plus 1 or 2 picks, and that trade could have happened, and Houston would be in a much better position than what they are now. Because yes, they're 1-11-1. But they've been competitive in a lot of the games that they've lost.
Not going to lie, though, but that pick from Cleveland is going to help.
Yeah, they've just missed having that quarterback that can change the game. If they're
getting a quarterback and they're going to get a receiver. They're going to get a big play receiver with that pick from
Houston would be in a much better position.
They're going to be better now. They're going to be better. But I believe Houston's not bugging because I know Lovie Smith is probably gonna. He's like, okay, we're just gonna go get Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud on the first pick of the draft, and then we're gonna go try. We're gonna try. They're most likely gonna try to trade up to get Smith, from Ohio State, and they're gonna try to build their offense around them. And then the rest of the time, they're gonna try to build their defense up because they got the running back with Bernard Pierce, which is a monster. You'll have a nice supporting cast. Trade Brandon. I don't know why they haven't got rid of Brandon Cooks. They don't utilize him. That's also one of the most underrated receivers in our generation, and I can argue that. But they're gonna probably trade Brandon Cooks out the door. They got other supporting cast more. It looks like he's playing a very big role for Houston, and they're just gonna build around that. Their offensively, they're gonna build around. I think Lovie Smith. I think he is the right coach there due to the fact that they compete with him like they did with Dan Campbell up in Detroit last year.
Lovie Smith is only going to be there another year.
I think if he shows a lot of progression, he's going to stay.
I don't think so. I think he knows the situation he walked into, and I think it's a situation that was basically like, you're not going to be here in 3 years. We're bringing you in because you were on this staff last year when we had to go through everything we went through. Mm-hmm. We're bringing you in to basically –
honestly, they should not fire Bill O'Brien as the head coach.
We're bringing you in to stabilize this organization, and when we get to the point where we feel like we're going to compete, we're going to move on from you. I think we've already had that conversation with him, and I think he understands it.
But Stat Guy Pride and Nate, I think they should not fire Bill O'Brien as the head coach. As the GM, absolutely. He was a terrible GM. But as the head coach, he should have stayed because, honestly, I was technically more competitive.
I think they kind of had to once all the Deshaun Watson stuff came out. It was kind of more of, I think Bill O'Brien was put in
a position
long time just because once all that stuff about Deshaun Watson came out, you're the head coach, you should know what he's doing.
I mean, he bounced back nice. He's in Alabama as the OC. So
He bounced back nice.
Good job. You think he most likely would get a head coaching job again?
I don't think he will.
I would. As a head coach, Bill O'Brien is a playoff head coach.
I think he gets a college job before an NFL job.
Oh, as a GM though, he was horrible. I don't know why he got.
Yeah, he was horrible as a GM.
One of the worst GMs ever. But
I don't see him being a head coach in the NFL anymore. I see him being a head coach.
No, I can't have Bill O'Brien and Jim Harbaugh out there. One of them gonna have to come to the league because they were actually productive coaches in the NFL. You got guys like Cliff Kingsbury coming in, and they sucked as a coach in college.
I don't know how I feel about Cliff Kingsbury right now.
It was only because he coached Patrick Mahomes in college. That's the only reason why he had to get the job.
He had a very good 4-year run.
Okay,
And also,
so
was he
I
like
just had a
Lincoln
thought.
Riley too, like one of his closest guys, and he could have helped Kyler Murray with his development because they basically want to run the same style that they ran in Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley. I think that's another reason too. But
go ahead, Nate. What were you saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to happen, but I had an idea that I just wanted to entertain the thought.
No.
What if Cliff Kingsbury leaves, goes
he's
to
getting
Kansas
fired. He ain't
City,
leaving.
goes to Kansas City, and becomes some sort of not the offensive coordinator,
You know how
obviously. That
pissed I'll
goes there. I mean, I'm not going to entertain that thought at all.
Actually, I would love it.
But
Well,
Cliff Kingsbury becomes like a quarterback coach or something.
No.
Quarterback coach they have right now is Matt Nagy.
I know,
Yeah.
but
Matt Nagy's actually done well with Patrick
How is he a quarterback's coach? What he did in Chicago.
because he actually worked with Patrick Mahomes before he got to Chicago.
Okay, touche.
That's why he went back to Kansas City because the years that Patrick Mahomes, the first 2 years that Mahomes played, Matt Nagy was the quarterback
I
coach.
might take Kingsbury over. I might take Kingsbury over Nagy.
Loves Matt Nagy, and that's the reason why he brought him back on the staff.
But I'm not gonna lie. I think if
He's always said that Matt Nagy is one of the brightest and smartest assistant coaches he's ever had.
Peyton Manning said that about Adam Gase. That's all I'm gonna say.
But a lot of that, I think, had to do with Peyton Manning overruled Adam Gase a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's true too.
But Matt Nagy actually worked very well with Patrick
I bet
Mahomes.
Tom Brady says the same things about Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, and
Love
Josh McDaniels, when Josh McDaniels was the offensive coordinator in New England, he probably is one of the best assistants. But it's going back to the point where some assistant coaches aren't made to be head coaches. Josh McDaniels is one of those assistant coaches that's not made to be a head coach. He's made to be an offensive coordinator. Nathaniel Hackett is not made to be a head coach. He's made to be an offensive coordinator.
Cliff Kingsbury too.
Yeah, some coaches might be very bright assistants. They might be very smart. And I'm going to say the same thing about Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy might be one of the smartest offensive coordinators in the NFL, but he may not be cut out to be an NFL head coach, and that could be why he has not been hired yet, because every time he goes through the interview process, every team that's interviewed him says he does terrible in the interview process. And that could be because he doesn't have the mindset to be a head coach. He has the mindset to specifically be an offensive coordinator and run an offense and not run an organization.
I don't think that's a problem either. I believe if you don't, I believe you understand your strengths.
That's why Matt Nagy ended up in Kansas City. He has the mindset to specifically work in one position group, which is the quarterback's coach. What he excelled at before he got the job in Chicago. He doesn't have that mindset to run an organization top to bottom as a head coach. So he knows what he's good at. Andy Reid.
But I also give some coaches their shot. Like, for example, Pete Carroll wasn't a solid coach when he first came into the NFL. Went to UFC, came back, and next thing you know, he's put up damn near Hall of Fame career, you could say, as a head coach.
You got to remember, though, Pete Carroll inherited
the Legion of Boom
before they got Belichick and before they got Tom Brady. So he was kind of inheriting the end of Parcells' reign. And then he went to the New York Jets when they were not really that great. So when Pete Carroll got to those teams, they were at least 500 and were competitive. They just never had any wins to show for it.
I can get that. But yeah, Josh McDaniel, I believe it's come to the point now you need more of an offensive guru as your head coach now. instead of the strong suit on defense. Like, I believe you need a strong defensive coordinator, yes, but I believe that offensive guru needs to be the head coach.
If you look at every single team that is in the playoffs right now, I'm not talking ones that are in the playoff hunt, but the ones that are in the playoffs.
They're all offensive. Like, their strong suit is offense.
Outside of Mike Vrabel and outside of Brandon Staley, every single team that is in the playoff picture right now has an offensive-minded head coach.
Absolutely.
You have Andy Reid, one of the best offensive coordinators of all time. You have Zach Taylor, who was the offensive coordinator with the Rams before he got the job with Cincinnati. You have Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott.
You have Kevin O'Connell, an offensive coordinator.
Nick Sirianni,
offensive coordinator with the Colts. Kyle Shanahan was an offensive coordinator.
Arguably one of the best offensive coordinators.
Dable, offensive coordinator.
You said Brian Dable?
Yep, offensive coordinator. I mean, Ron Rivera, defensive coordinator, so you can throw him in there. And the same thing with Todd Bowles, who's an a defensive coordinator. But
Mike McCarthy's also is an offensive-minded coach as well.
Who?
Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy. But Todd Bowles is a defensive-minded head coach, but it's still the Bruce Arians system that's in place. So I kind of leave him off of that because it's still the Bruce Arians system that Tampa Bay is running.
Yes, I'm the same.
So, yeah, out of 14 teams that are going to make the playoffs, 11 of them are offensive-minded head coaches. Compare that to 5 years ago when
it was mostly defensive-minded head coaches. You had Bill Belichick.
I think that this is something that's going to change as time goes on. And I think that you're going to start seeing a pattern. As time goes on, you're going to see like offensive coordinators start to be the thing, and then there's two defensive coordinators that defensive-minded head coaches do just really well. And it's going to go back to the defensive coordinator, and then you see like offensive coordinators. I think it's going to go this back and forth motion until, forever.
I don't necessarily think it will, just because of the way the NFL has changed. It's become more of an offensive game. They're allowing wide receivers to get away with more than the safeties and defenders. They're allowing roughing the passer calls to basically be called on any normal tackle because they want the game to be more offensive-minded. And because of that, that's why I think more offensive coordinators are going to get a head coaching job, because it's geared toward the strength of the NFL now. If the NFL goes back to the way it was 10, 15 years ago, where you legitimately could actually hit people and you could actually tackle people, then you'll probably see more defensive-minded head coaches come back into the mix. But unless that happens, I don't see too many defensive coordinators getting a shot at a head coaching job anytime soon, unless it's DeMeco Ryan.
Well, I see that everybody else hopped off. So do you want to go ahead and just end the show?
Yeah, we can end it. That's fine.
Okay. Any other comments before we give this a close?
I got nothing. If I just want to know your opinion quick. If you're the Broncos, do you shut Russell Wilson down the rest of the year and just go with ripping the rest of the way, since at this point you really have nothing to play for outside of a top 5 pick, which you don't even get because it goes to Seattle.
Given to Seattle, I think the only thing that we really do have to play for is pride. If we do come out and do really well throughout the rest of these 4 games, then I think it's going to increase the odds of like some of these bigger names, like some of these bigger, like better head coaches to come and want to coach for here. So as for that, I think I saw a better game with Brett Rippon yesterday. So to answer your question, I say yes. Even though it was against Arizona and their defense is not that good, I still say yes.
Okay.
All right. I'm just. Ooh.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.